South Africa, South Africa. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live this life of freedom in South Africa.
Thank you very much. You may be seated.
Siyabonga ningahlela phansi.
I've already done the greeting to all of us that are here, and also would like to say good morning to honorable members, that those are my colleagues.
Sengibingelele nonke ngakho ngizothanda ukuthi ngikhonze nakuza kwethu engisebenza kanye nabo.
Siyabulela ngabantu abathe baphumelela kulomhlangano, mara siyabona ukuthi abantu bayaza kancane eholweni.
Thanks for those who avail themselves for this meeting, but we can see that people are slowly coming in.
Kubalulekile ke ukuthi sizazise kuqala ukuba singobani ababanihambeleyo apha eMsunduzi.
It is important to introduce ourselves, to tell you who we are since we came to you here in Msunduzi.
Igama lami ndinguNonkosi, isibongo ngumvana.
My name is Inkosi. My surname is Mvana.
Usihlalo wale committee bayibiza portfolio committee yakwa social development.
I'm the chairperson of this committee, the Committee of Social Development.
Ndibuya eEastern Cape endaweni abayibiza Whitley Queenstown.
I'm from the Eastern Cape, a place that is called Whitley.
Ndililungu ke lale committee njengoba sentshilo. Ndizawucela ezinye iimembers zizazise ngokwazo apha phambi kwenu.
I'm the member of this committee, and my colleagues, the other members, will introduce themselves to you.
Good morning.
Sanbonani.
Môre.
Sanbonani.
Ek is Letitia Aries.
I am Letitia Aries.
Ek is 'n lid van die portefeulje komitee maatskaplike ontwikkeling.
I'm a member of the Portfolio Committee for Social Development.
Ek is van George in die Weskaap.
I come from George in the Western Cape.
Ek wil vir julle dankie sê dat julle gekom het om julle insette te kom lewer op hierdie belangrike stukkie wetgewing.
I want to thank you for your willingness to participate today, for your inputs with this very important piece of legislation.
Dankie dat julle omgee vir ons kinders, want ons kinders is die leiers van môre.
And thank you for caring for our children, because our children are the leaders of tomorrow.
Baie dankie.
Thank you, ladies and gents.
Sanibonani nonke ekuseni.
Greetings to all of you this morning.
Igama lami Gisela Opperman.
My name is Gisela Opperman.
I am a resident of the Northern Cape
Ngi isakhamuzi sase Northern Cape.
and a member of this portfolio committee.
Nelungu laleli committee.
Ons is vandag hier om saam met julle te deel die kinderwet van 2005 en hoe om dit te verbeter en die gapings en uitdagings binne die kinderwet effektief en doeltreffend aan te spreek.
We are here today to present to you the Children's Act of 2005 and also to discuss the gaps and shortcomings and challenges facing the Act and how we can improve on it today.
So ek sien uit na 'n robuuste, vibrante gesprek saam met u en ek dank u dat u hier is.
So I'm looking forward to a robust and vibrant communication with you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the day.
I'm Shane.
Sanbonani,
Bitura mina i Jane Wakamanganyi.
igama lami ngiwu-Jane Mangane,
Nihuma a province ya Northwest.
ngiphuma esifundeni sase-Northwest.
Ngithokoze futhi ukuba nani la.
I'm happy to be with you today.
Good morning.
Nginibingelele nonke.
My name is Bridget Masango.
Igama lami ngiwu-Bridget Masango,
I come from Johannesburg,
ngivela eJohannesburg,
but I am a KwaZulu-Natal girl.
kodwa ngiyintombazane yalapha KwaZulu Natal.
Ikhaya lakithi lise Mfolozi esifundeni saseMtubatuba.
I'm from Mfolozi in Mtubatuba.
It's a great pleasure and honor to be sitting in front of you today
Kuyilungelo ukuba lapha phambi kwenu namuhla,
because what we are here for is what I think at least is the most important part of the work that we are doing as members of parliament.
ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi lokho esikuzele lapha kuyinto ebaluleke kakhulu njengamalungu asePhalamende.
The best interest of the child is very paramount, and I thank you, each and every one of you, for having come through today.
Ukubeka izingane zethu noma isithakazelo sezingane zethu phambili kuyinto ebaluleke kakhulu, futhi ngithanda ukunibonga nonke ngokuthi nizenze nitholakale namuhla.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members.
Ngibonge kakhulu koza kwethu.
Mhlawumbi kubalulekile ndiseske nditsho uba sinayo ne-backup support staff esihamba nayo.
I think it is important also to mention that we have our backup
Mabawavishe,
staff. They will
babulise.
wave right now to you.
Nabaya kula
They are
tafule
over
emali.
there in that table.
Sinawo namagosa akwa social development akunye nathi apa.
We have the members of social development who are with us today.
Nanga yakwela cala mawabulise na
They are
wawavishe.
over that side. They will wave to you.
Ndimazise ngokukodwa yena uHOD wakwa social development.
I want to introduce also the HOD of social development.
Umama unelisiwe Vilakazi.
Miss
Makaphakame
Nelisiwe
abulise.
Vilagazi, she will stand up and greet you.
Nanko ke umphathi wabo bonke apa eKZN.
This is the leader of the whole of KZN.
Nditsho uba sinabo nabantu abasincedisayo ekuthetheni ilanguage ngelanguage comfortable ngazo.
We also have our interpreters that will interpret so that we can feel
Nabo
comfortable in all
mabawavishe.
our. Also, the interpreters will wave to you.
Ndiyabulela.
Thank you.
Sinayo nemedia esinayo apa nabo bahlezi kwezitafile mabawavishe.
We also have the media in the front table. They will wave to you.
Siyababona ke i-team ke
You can
esihamba
see
nayo
this is all-
yonke leyo.
This is all the team that we are with.
Mhlawumbi kubalulekile ukuba sitsho uba sizothini apa.
I think it is important to tell you why are we here.
Size apha ngomthetho sihlomelo
We are,
wabantwana.
we are here because of the amendment bill of the children.
Sisazi ngokumhlophe intoba sayamkela savumelana ngo-2005 nge-act yabantwana.
We know very well that we accepted the Act of 2005 of children.
Abantu ke abaninzi abathanda ukuthi abantwana bethu abalawuleki ngenxa yalomthetho okuthiwa yi-Children's Act ka-2005.
Some people might say our children are out of control because of this Act of 2005.
Endiphikisanayo ke mna nabo ngoba lamthetho uncedisana nabantwana ngaphezu kokuba abantu bewugada nje bewuthetha okanye bewutolika njengomthetho ozowumosha abantwana bethu.
Which I disagree with because this law actually will help us so that we can be able to govern or lead our children in a proper way.
Ixesha ke xa liye lihamba ziyatshintsha izinto kufuneke intoba silungelelanise indlela yokuzenza.
When time goes on, things change. We need to change with time so that we are able to do things according to the new circumstances.
Lo mthetho sihlomelo ke ngoku uncedisa kwinto enjalo esiye ke ngoku thina amalungu eParlamente sihambe siconsulta abantu ekuhlaleni so that babe nokwazi ukuthatha inxaxheba bancedisane nalomthetho ngokuba bewazi bewuvuma uba umelba ibe ngumthetho.
That's why as the members of the parliament, we go to the people so that they can hear this amended bill and agree with it and know what it says.
Enye ke yezigaba okanye yamanqanaba achatshazelwa ngulomthetho okanye sisihlomelo mthetho yinto yokukhuliswa kwabantwana ngabazali abasithi.
Some of the points of this amended bill, they talk about the raising of parents, the raising of kids by the parents.
Nje into ehlonyelweyo endicinga ba abantu abangotata imelba ibachwayitise and bekumelba apha endlini bayizalisile indlu kuba lo mthetho okanye esisihlomelo mthetho sincedisana nabo.
Another thing that has been amended or added on the law, it talks more about men, it gives men a certain opportunity. That's why I think men should have been more than the other people who are here.
Into ke leyo ebenza bakwazi nabo phansi kwalo mqathango okanye kwesisihloko se-parental responsibility sibafake phakathi as fathers, whether they are married or unmarried, whether they are divorced or single parents. Kodwa as fathers babanayo irresponsibility yokukhulisa abantwana babo.
Which will help them as fathers to have a responsibility to raise their children. So that's why I think it is important for men.
Phinda ingene nakwinto ye-child marriages ne-forced marriages esizi encourageayo at times singabazali abantwana bethu sibathengise into leyo eye izale nalento sithi i-children trafficking esiyikhabayo singalamalungu eParlamente ukuthi sifanele sincedisane as abantu bokuhlala emphakathini about that.
It also talks about children trafficking. It also talks about forced marriages, taking our children to marry someone forcefully. So it will also help us on that matter.
Kufuneka ke sibe very, very cautious about my friend from another mother. We townships zethu.
We have to be careful of those my friend, who is from another mother in our townships.
Or onobhizinisi abanendlela yophila engathi ngcono kunathi.
And the businessmen who seem to be well off than us.
Mhlawumbi ngentsokolo esiphansi kwayo nokustrugglisha ubone ukuthi umntwana wakho umelezeke abe uyendela pha. Umntwana engakhange abe uconsultile okanye umntwana ese underage for indoba angene kwimeko zokutshata.
We should be careful of forcing our kids to be married because we are living under poverty. At the end of the day, we end up marrying them before they even reach the necessary age of getting married.
Lo mthetho ke uyancedisana esisihlomelo mthetho siyancedisana ne-situations ezinjalo ukuba sinqandane nazo sizikondeme zingabi zonto ezenzekayo.
This amendment bill, it will help us to control such situations so that we do not find ourselves in such.
Kukho ke nalento yokuba xa usengxakini yokukhulisa abantwana okanye yokukhulisa abantwana abashiwe sisihlobo sakho okanye sizalwane okanye intombi yakho umthathe uyowuphisa ngaye kwilizwe likude abe ingakhange iprocesses ezifanele ulandelwa zibe zilandelwa.
There's also this problem of when you have to raise the kids from your siblings or any one of your families. Sometimes we don't follow the proper processes by taking our kids to other countries or maybe giving them away to people of other nationality without following the proper due procedures.
Kanti nalapha ekuhlaleni uphise ngomntwana akho ungaze wamazi nokuthi umphe bani uyowutshona phina i-social workers ufumanise bakhange zibe involved ekuncedisaneni kule process yokuba umntana unikeze ngaye.
Sometimes we give those kids away to our neighbors or people that live around us without following the proper due processes. Sometimes the social workers do not even know where we took the kids. They were not involved by doing such things.
Section 150 kulo mhlomelo mthetho uyayincedisa ke yonke le process ukwenzeka uba yenzeke kakuhle.
So section 150 of the amendment bill, it will help us to follow the necessary processes.
Ndizawuthi vandla nje kule ye-ECDs esizibiza inkuliso emakhaya esivela nje randomly ubone ukuthi uya household okanye uyi-housewife okanye uyi-pensioner utvele ngokuqokelela abantwana in your area and then you open up lento bayibiza inkuliso okanye ECD.
I will talk briefly about the ECDs because sometimes you find other people when they go on pension, they just decide to open an ECD and collect kids in their houses.
Ungakwazi ke ngoku ukuba uyiregisterishe okanye uyenze ngendlela efanelekileyo kuba kubakho imiqathango eye ifuneke ilandeleke before you open that and then ufumane ne-certificate to open up law ECD.
We will also talk about the proper procedures to follow if you want to open an ECD so that you know exactly what to do if you want to open such.
Ngokuqinisekileyo ke social development uba khona for ukuncedisa imeko ezinjalo nokuthi kuregisterishwe abantu and also ukwazi uba ibe yi-environment conducive for abantwana bakwazi uba babe bayahlala kuloo ndawo.
And also social development will be able to help so that we have properly registered ECDs so that we have a place that is conducive and proper for children.
Sibanayo ke ne-challenge yokuvula ezi centers ezinye sizibiza ukuba zi-drop off centers ne-orphanage homes. Nazo sifuna ukwenza into engalandelekanga kakuhle ngokwaseburhulumenteni. Siye sihlomele ke lo mthetho uba zimele zonke ezo zinto zinjalo ukwenzela uba zifumane i-funding okanye ukuncediswa ngurhulumente zihambe iprocess ethile.
We also have drop-off centers and orphanage, so we will discuss also that how can people get funding for such if they are registered in a proper way.
Omnye isihlomelo mthetho sesisithetha nge-adoption yabantwana esiyaziyo sonke indoba awu-adopti abantwana that are your family relatives only kodwa unelungelo lokuba ungayomthatha umntwana umfosterishe okanye adopte as a parent uye kweza centers sivele savela saqokelela abantwana kuzo mhlawumbi ukwazi ukumexpose kwi-outside environment ayokudla i-Christmas, big days nefamily nokuba ayiseyo yakhe kodwa abe uadoptiwe ngokufanelekileyo lo mntana.
This amendment bill will talk about the process also of adoption, not just adopting kids who are from our relatives, but even adopting other kids who are not related to us. We will talk about how to follow the right procedures so that when we adopt such kids, we can give them a good environment, take them out for Christmas or holidays so that also they can find some love.
Eyokugcina ke nje yokuthi all what we are talking about iyayidinga into yokuba umasipala wethu akwazi ukusondelelana nathi, even ourselves as communities sibe able to go to municipality for cases ze-infrastructure, cases zokuthi uyofuna isite right, cases zokuba uadvise into yoba this place is not conducive or is not okay for indlela yokuthi abantwana bahlale kuyo. Zonke ezo zinto ke zinida umasipala, so you must at least know about the role of the municipality so that uzokhona ukunxibelelana nayo ngendlela right.
We will also talk about matters that relate to the municipality, on matters of if you probably want a site where you can build, have infrastructure in that place, on the proper procedures to follow so that they can advise you if it's a right land or correct area to build anything.
Sazi ngokumhlophe ukuthi izolo bekusenziwa i-inauguration ceremonies in most of the municipalities, which ekumele uba besimele uba sine-representative from umasipala, so that when sifuna ukuqonda some clarities or mhlawumbi sifuna raise some issues that are challenges to us, ibe umasipala ukhona. But today we don't have any rep from the municipality esaziyo ke into yoba basebhizi baseta up i-houses zabo ngendlela right. Kodwa it doesn't mean that namhlanje we can't raise izinto that we would love to get them and note them. Sibe nendlela yokuzidlulisa kumasipala because we understand maybe inkuliso yakho or isenta yakho or orphanage yakho ayinayo i-ablution block, but you have to go to kwamasipala and request certain things kwamasipala. Yiloo nto ke lo mthetho sihlomelo unayo indawo ekhuluma ngomasipala ne-working relations zakhe.
We know that yesterday it was an inauguration of the municipality. That's why probably we won't have anybody from there who will be representing them, or maybe they are rep. But that doesn't mean we can't raise issues about the municipality. We can talk about such issues. Maybe you need some help from the municipalities about certain things that the municipality can do for you. So you are still allowed to talk about such.
I was trying to give you the summary of what is it that is entailed by the amendment bill, but you do have documents in front of you which we expect in Doba you can peruse them and go through them and also raise things, because you are the person who encounters and who are living with these things that have been listed apha kule amendment bill. Eninako ke ngoku to raise them apha kwi mic and tell us what do you think we have missed kule amendment bill? What is it that you think we can amend? What is it that you think we need also to add on? And the process is like that. Sizawubiza everyone raise isandla sakhe and aze uhlala apha in the middle of the hall, use the mic. That particular person must introduce herself or himself, atsho ukuthi whether he or she supports the bill or not supporting it or reject it, and mhlawumbi if there is anything that he or she would like to raise to us, sinote thina phansi all those things. Kodwa don't go and sit down without telling us whether you support the bill or you reject it.
Si nalomthetho ke osavivinywa enutholile uma ningena lapha enukwazi ukuthi niubone lapha emaphepheni niwatholile ningakwazi ukuthi niufunde niubhekisise nibheke ukuthi niyavumelana yini nalokho okubhalwe lapho kuloyo mthetho emva kwalokho umuntu uzonikezwe ithuba lokuthi eze ngaphambili ukuze akwazi ukuthi asho uvo lwakhe naye emva kwalokho ni uzosho ukuthi uyayisekela yini noma uyawusekela lo mthetho osavivinywa.
Let me also appeal to you. If there is anything that you would like to raise, but it is very sensitive for you to raise it in the podium, okanye in the mic, please don't raise it calling names. Uyazi ukuthi ungasenkingeni mos usuwisha about that. But that table that is there on my left-hand side is really responsible for that. You can go to it, raise whatever that you think it is very sensitive and critical, pakubona, and they are going to take notes and hand over to us. As you would know, Mos, when we are making an act, we have to consult people. Nina, again, that you have come to the meeting, you are representative of other people that are not here. So you must go back and tell them and interpret as a document in his peteyo. That's why as document is in a language that you will understand. And also that is why I am giving you this summary so that if you don't have or you are not a fast reader, you'll be able to know exactly what. But we all know that nina nihlala nabantwana nizaziyo challenges abantwana niyaziyo into yoba yintoni efanele ilandeleke, you will be the one enizasincedisa to ukupasisa lo mthetho.
Sizonikeza ithuba lokuthi nikwazi ukuthi nikhulume kodwa uma unento mhlawumbe okungeke uthanda ukuthi uyikhulume phambi kwabantu noma into engaba namagama abanye abantu ezokufaka enkingeni ungayikhulumi lapha ngaphambili sizocela uye lapha kozwa kwethu abalapha kusandla sethu sokudla ungayokhuluma nabo ufake isicelo sakho lapho ngoba siyazi ukuthi abanye benu bayakwazi ukuthi bafunde lo mthetho ngokusheshsha abanye bazokuthatha isikhashana nje ukuthi bawufunde uma seniqedile ukufunda ningakwazi ukuthi nibuyele emuva ubantu mhlawumbe abanithumile ukuthi nize lapha ukuze nibatshele ukuthi lo mthetho osavivinywa ukhuluma ngani futhi unaziphi inzuzo kuwo.
Mhlambi, let me also warn you ukuthi ungakhulinge uze la ngaphambili ukwatile.
Another thing that I want to warn you, you must not come in front here with a sad face.
Ngoba uzohlazeka. Le yonke lento siyenzayo la iyaphuma ku YouTube, iyaphumla ku Twitter, iyaphuma ku Instagram, iphuma kuzo zonke media. Naku 408. Yes, it's our channel as parliament. Lo mthetho njengoba sizawuhamba sijikeleza onke lama province, siselelwe zi provinces ezi3 out of 9 ngoku. La i4th district yokugcina siphume sihambe siye eGauteng. Sizawuhamba siyobeka lezi zinto nizibekayo, siyowuhambisa lo mthetho uphume uhambe kuye kwindawo abisiyibiza NCOP ubuye again siupasise eParliament sitsho ukuthi it's an act ngoku. So ufanele uncume mawuza la. If awukakathambisa iruji, awukakabhukuzi ufake i-makeup yakho quickly uthi mawuza la kule podium, i-TV mayikuthatha njengoba ubona laba bhuti bathatha i-TV la. So ube muhle nje ukhululeke, ungasabi and express yourself in a language that you are comfortable. Or as interpreters lapha zizazi zonke izinto sinawe nomtsonga la, sinayo ne-African speaking people, sinayo nomzulukazi la, sinomxhosa othethayo njengamu. So every language is acceptable. Into esingenayo nje sis French kunye nesi-German kunye nesi-Latin. Asinazongo ke lezo, but we will try our level best sintolikele. So nize ngaphambili uzintroduce.
So when you come in front here, just remember we are on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. So you have to smile. If you haven't put on your makeup, just to make yourself look presentable, you can do that, but please do smile. So after we've taken all your points, we'll take them back to Parliament, discuss them, take them to the NCOP, and then after that, that's when we'll have the results.
Nithule ngathi nizova umphanga. Alala Msunduzi, alala. Alala Msunduzi, alala. You alala.
You are
Hawu,
so
madoda.
quiet, you are such a quiet
All right.
crowd.
All right. Sizanibona manikhuluma apha ngaphambili. Isikhathi esiningi kufuneka sininike nini.
Most of the
Oh,
time, we give
Amandla.
it to you.
Amandla. Ah, Chisabai. Arize ke hands up ke. Sibone, eh?
You can raise your hands if you want.
Hey, le fight yahlupha. Can we see the hands so that nize la ngaphambili ke?
Ningaphakamisa izandla uma
Who wants to
ninokuthile
start
nifuna
and
ukusho.
break the ice can come forward.
Abanokuthile bangeza ngaphambili.
You can do i-submission yakho ebhaliwe and hand it over kula tafula.
You can also send in your written submission to
Seemingly
the
akunamuntu
members on the side.
We can as well make a benediction and leave and say goodbye. We love you so much.
Kusho ukuthi
Maningenanto
ke,
yokukhuluma.
uma ke kungekho umuntu onombuzo noma ufuna ukukhomenta aphawule kusho ukuthi asivele siuvaleke umhlangano. If you've got a comment or question, please raise your hand and you'll have to come and sit on those vacant seats over there so that you can get an opportunity to comment or ask a question.
Or ungasukuma nje mani uthi ukuthi ngiya-adopta or ngiya-supporta le bill.
Or you can just stand up and say as to whether or not you support the bill.
Oh, hayi ke akunamuntu masiphakame senze ufefe.
It seems there is no one who wants to comment or speak.
All right, you can come in front of. Thank you very
Ungasondela
much for breaking the ice.
ngaphambili.
Yay.
You can go there to the
Uyalila.
microphone.
Have a chair first.
Oh,
Have a chair.
okay.
Khona omunye, khona umuntu onibreakele ice ke?
Are there any more hands?
How-
Are there any more people who would like to comment?
All right. Hey, fathers, it's only the fathers. It
Oh.
can't be only the fathers.
Oh baba kuphela, yibo kuphela abafuna ukukhuluma obaba.
Sithi negotiate ukuchathisa abantwana bethu with forced marriages.
We as women are the ones who do the negotiations.
Sifuna
Where are
imali.
the ladies?
Sifuna imali umntwana meza negrocery ekhaya awuzi nokuthi buya kuphi uyathatha upakishe ekhabhathini.
We normally ask for grocery money at home when the father comes. Where are the ladies?
All right, masiqhubekeke ne-fathers. Fathers for justice, can you take the platform? Over
Oh baba, bobulungisa, sicela usondele kwi-microphone baba.
Testing.
Sanbonani,
Take away the mask, Baba.
khumula
Hare
imask.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. God bless everyone.
uNkulunkulu makabusise bonke abantu.
My name is Niroshan Govinda.
Igama lami uLiroshan Govender.
I'm coming from Fathers for Justice, which is a support group for fathers.
Ngiqhamuka kobaba bobulungisa okuyiqembu lobaba lokusekelana.
The reality is that we want to be a part of our children's lives.
Iqiniso leyokuthi sifuna ukuba ingxenye yezimpilo zabantwana bethu.
We are being excommunicated by the family advocates and by the judicial system.
Kubonakala ngathi sivalelwa ngaphandle abameli bemndeni kisho ke nezobulungisa.
Children are being used by many, both men and women, as pawns in the divorce proceedings.
Ingane ziyasetshenziswa amadoda nabesifazane njengezikhali zokulwa ikakhulukazi lapho kudivorcewa noma kungabonwa ngasolinye.
We are not pro fathers only or pro mothers only.
asimelele obaba bodwa noma mhlawumbe omama bodwa.
We are pro-parenting and pro-children.
Simelele nje abazali bebonke nabantwana bebonke.
I'm coming from a personal experience
Lokhu ngikubone mathupha kwenzeka kimi uqobo.
whereby as soon as we come to a stage where the relationship has become degraded or falls apart,
Lapho sekufike ekutheni ke ubudlelwano phakathi kwabazali sebiyawohloka.
my child is dragged through a system of injustice.
Ubona ke nengane isifakwa kule ndaba lena engenabulungisa.
Instead of defaulting to a situation whereby the child gets to have the bond with both parents,
Kunokuthi ke ingane ijabulela ukubona abazali bayo benobudlelwano obuhle obuqinile.
there is an adversarial system that is imposed upon us.
Kunosimo ke nje singesihle sibonakala siphoqelelwa lapha kuthina.
My relationship could have rebounded for my child's sake to have a proper family unit.
Ebudlelwaneni bethu kwabonakala ukuthi ingane yethu manje ngeke isaba manje nokukhula kahle ngenxa yokuthi ubuhlobo bethu babungasahambi kahle.
Instead, the family advocate, the lawyers, the magistrates, they promote adversity.
Kunalokho kubonakala engathi abameli, ummeli womndeni, abameli ngisho nezimantshi impela bathela nje manje usawoti esilondeni eindabeni ezifana nalezi.
Because they embellish the mother to act in these vengeful manners.
Ngoba manje babonakala kakhulukazi besekela kakhulu omama kulezi indaba.
To withhold the child from the father.
Bese ke ingane ke ubone ngathi manje siyibuyela ngasohlangothini lika mama ubaba sale dengwane.
And when she does that, the family advocate commends her in a sense.
Ngaleso sikhathi ke makwenzeka la lokho ubona ummeli womndeni engathi ke uyamncoma umama ngalokho.
They galvanize that very fact that, okay, the father has been eliminated from the family unit. Now the mother has all the rights to have custody of the child.
Ungazi ukuthi bayayigqugquzela noma bayayikhuthaza lento yokuthi obaba bavalelwe ngaphandle bese ke umama ebanawo wonke amandla okukhulisa umntwana eyedwa.
They thus promote the breakdown of the family unit.
Singathi nje bakhuthaza ukuhlukaniswa phakathi kwemndeni.
I'm going to close up with a few questions because I believe questions will help somebody imbibe the information much better.
Ngizovala ngembuzo ke ngoba imibuzo isiza umuntu ukuthi akwazi ucubungula kahle ulwazi bese liqonda kahle.
The first question is,
Umbuzo oqala uthi
is fatherlessness in the best interest of the child?
ingabe kuyayizuzisa yini ingane ukuthi ingabi naye ubaba?
Anybody have any answers?
Ukhona umuntu onempendulo?
Next question.
Olandela. Umbuzo olandelayo.
What is your definition of reasonable contact time?
Usichaza kanjani isikhathi somzali nengane lese sithi isikhathi esikahle sokuthi umzali abe nengane?
Would you say that proper parenting time is 5 days out of 30 days?
Bungathi isikhathi esinjani leso esiyizinsuku ezinhlanu kwezingu-30?
Can somebody answer that question, maybe from the panel or from the department?
Ukhona umuntu ongaphendula lo
5
mbuzo?
days out of 30 days. Is it
Mhlawumbe
proper
lapha.
parenting time?
Mhlawumbe lapha etafuleni noma emnyangweni. Insuku ezingu-5 noma ezingu-30 enyangeni isikhathi ongasichitha nengane mawumzali.
All right, you may sit down, you'll get the answers when we are done.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Ngahlala phansi uyothola impendulo ke mawusuqedile.
Then the one last question.
Mbuzo ogcina.
Which is more important, physical or emotional stability?
Ikuphi okubaluleke kakhulu? Ukuzinza ngokomzimba noma ngokomzwelo?
For the child's sake.
Uma ke sicabangela umntwana.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
All right, do you support the bill or you don't?
Uyayeseka umthetho sivivinywa noma cha?
And
Do you?
Do you support the bill, the one that we have brought in front of you, or not?
It's too much of litigation, like the words are too high for me. I don't understand it.
Amagama asetshenziswe lapha na abonakala elikhulu kakhulu kumina ngiwaqondi kahle ulimo olusetshenziswe lapha kuwe.
Okay. The other thing, you can also give us the answers, the ones that you asked. if
Sinike
you
ke
know
ne
them. Okay,
sinike
also.
neimpendulo zalembuzo ibuzile ke.
So my personal experience, I get 2 hours with my child on a Tuesday.
Ngokwami ke ngithola ke amahora amabili ngoLwesibili ukuba
And the
ngiwachithe
Thursday.
nomntwana.
And I get an alternate weekend,
Bese ngibuye futhi ngithole nesinye isikhashana
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
ngeimpelasonto ngoLwesihlanu nangomgqibelo nesonto.
When you add the numbers up, it works out to 5 days in a month.
Uma ubala lapho uyabona ukuthi insuku ezinhlanu ngenyanga lezi.
I'm being removed from being a parent to my child.
Empeleni kubonakala ngivalelwa ngaphandle kube nomzali wengane yami.
All right, okay. We're sorry about that, all right. It's fine.
Siyaxolisa ukuzwa lokho.
Okay. Okay. Over to you.
Good
Hayi,
day,
uyi-
good day to everyone.
Uyise kancane.
Ngibingelela wonke umuntu.
Good day to everyone.
Ngibingelela wonke umuntu.
My name is Ravi Padiachi.
Igama lami uRavi Phadeyachi.
I'm a member of this organization called Fathers for Justice.
Ngiyilungu lalenhlangano ebizwa ngobaba bobulungisa.
Firstly, I just want to thank Parliament and you guys hosting this function today.
Ngicela uqale ngibonge iParliamente elisethulele lesi sigcawu sokulalelwa komphakathi namhlanje.
The reason I'm here today is I've been in the situation and I want you guys to hear my situation.
Okwenze ngeza la ukuthi nami ngike ngaba nenkinga ethile ngifuna nizwe ngalenkinga.
Like my colleague just now was in tears when he left. I may and will represent thousands of fathers in this country.
Njengalomfowethu nje obekhihle sikaNandi la mayesuka la endaweni yokukhuluma. Empeleni lokho akwenzayo inkulungwane zobaba zibhekene nesimo esifanayo namhlanje.
By the way, I've taken the day off, unpaid leave, to be here.
Ngicele usuku emsebenzini ukuze ngibe la ngeke ngikhokhelwe ngisho nokukhokhelwa emsebenzini.
For the best interest of my child.
Ukuze nje kuzuze ingane yami.
I want to know, when two parents get divorced, why is our judicial system that the mother has the right to look after the child?
Ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi indaba ukuthi uma kuukuthi
All
abazali
right,
ba
okay,
divorce.
just a little bit, I'm sorry for this. Social workers, can you move a little bit backward, or just by that corner, so that nikhulume kahle, ne? Ningabi la.
Sicela niyoxoxela lapha emuva
Thathani itulo phange emuva.
ningathatha nje nezihlalo zenu nihambe naso. Ngicela ukwazi ukuthi indaba ukuthi ma ku divorcewa abazali bese ke umama enikwa amandla ukuthi kube uyena onakekela umntwana yedwa.
This is my second marriage.
Umshado wami wesibili lo.
My first marriage, my wife passed away in a freak accident.
Emshadweni wokuqala umkami washona engozini yemoto embi kakhulu.
My child was 2 years, 10 months, a son.
Ingane yami indodana yayineminyaka emibili nezinyanga eziyishumi.
He's now 18 years old.
Manje uneminyaka engu-18.
I brought him up on my own will with the good support system of my family.
Ngazikhulisela yena ngesekelwa umndeni wami.
Placed in a situation now in my second marriage, I have a daughter that's 3 years old.
Emshadweni wesibili ke nginendodakazi eneminyaka emithathu.
But our judicial system doesn't allow me to have even shared residence or much time with my child.
Kodwa inkantolo ayivumi nokuthi ngihlale nayo lengane. Ngisho nje nokuthi ke ngithola isikhashana nayo.
I only get her 1 day a week, that is on a Saturday and from 9 to 6.
Ngihlangana naye kanye ngesonto ngemgqibelo kusukela ngo9 kuze kuyoshaya u6.
And the following Sunday from 9 to 6 as well.
Nangesonto elilandelayo nakhona futhi u9 kuze kuyoshaya u6.
I raised my son up in my first marriage.
Indodana yami yomshado wokuqala yakhuliswa yimina.
I don't believe that sex should be important in the upbringing of a child.
Angikholelwa ukuthi ucansi kufanele lube into ebalekile endabeni yokukhuliswa kweingane.
I've now gone to the process of mediation.
Manje ke sesifike estagini lapho kungenelela abathile ukuzixazululwe indaba.
And the system still tells me that I'm not allowed to see my child or have shared residence.
Noma kunjalo namanje ngisancishwe ithuba lokuthi ngibe nesikhashana nengane yami ngisho nokuthi ngihlale nayo nje.
In this process, my child has become alienated from me.
Ngenxa lokho ke ingane yami uyayibona ukuthi sikude nami sesihlukanisiwe nje.
And I want to know, or this should be considered a criminal offense, parental alienation.
Ngicabanga ukuthi lento iyisenzo sokugebengu. Kufanele nje ibhekwe njengesenzo esiwubugebengu nje ukuthi umzali ahlukaniswe nomntwana wakhe.
Especially when the parent that has primary custody doesn't want the other parent to have and spend much or equal time.
Ikakhulukazi uma lo mzali osuke enikwa amandla enkantolo ukuthi kube uyena ohlala nomntwana esenqabela lo munye ukuthi naye phela abe nesikhathi nomntwana wakhe.
Just to add to Fathers for Justice, we are not only a fathers organization, there's a lot of mothers also on our group, just for record purposes.
Ake ngicacise nokuthi ke kule nhlangano yethu ebizwa ngobaba bobulungisa asiwona amadoda kuphela bakhona futhi no mama.
As much as there's good mothers, there's bad mothers out there.
Nakuba bekhona omama abahle bakhona nababhedayo futhi.
Just like there's good fathers, there's bad fathers.
Njengoba kunjalo nangobaba kukhona abahle kukhona ababhedayo futhi.
But when I go in front of the magistrate or the honorable magistrate, you cannot look at the system and now take my case and judge my case on the judicial system. It is totally unfair.
Kodwa ke mawuya lapha phambi kwezinkantolo izimantshi ezihloniphekile laphana abakwazi nje ukubuka lesisimo ngombono oqondile. Ay vele bayisingathe nje ngendlela engayinhle indaba.
I'm here also because a lot of dads have gone to the family advocate's office and there's no joy for dads. There is no joy.
Baba abaningi baye bafuna abameli kodwa uyabona nje ukuthi ke hayi akukho ukujabula kobaba.
The mindset of the family advocate office is so biased that mums can do anything but still keep their children.
Uyabona nje ukuthi ubulungisa bukho ayenzelela kakhulu bayenzelela kakhulu labameli bemndeni ngisho noma kungathiwa umama ubheda kanjani kodwa hayi kuyaye kuthiwa umntwana nje akahlale ngakuye.
In my case, I want my child to grow up with me.
Mina ngifuna nje yami ingane ikhule nami, ikhulele kumina.
I don't have access to her.
Angikwazi ukuhlangana nayo.
I don't communicate with her during the day.
Angikwazi ukuxoxa nayo phakathi nosuku.
I don't know what she does.
Angazi yenzani.
I've taken and I followed the process. I went on the internet and I did this myself. I went on Google, I took my baby to the child psychologist.
Ngenze konke ngaya ko Google ngayisa ingane ko dokotela bengqondo.
I spent a lot of money.
Ngichithe izizumbulu zemali.
I went for mediation.
Ngaze ngafuna nabazongenela ukuze kuxazululwe le ndaba.
I spent a lot of money.
Ngachitha enkulu imali.
I'm now in this process of going to court.
Manje ke ngikule nqubo yokuya enkantolo.
Now I am asking you all humbly to look at dads like me out there. There's a lot of dads out there who want to be involved in their children's life.
Ngiyanicela ngokuzithoba ukuthi ningibheke njengalabo baba baningi abanye abanjengami abafuna ukuba nesandla ekukhulisweni kwabantwana babo.
In my case, I also have an 18-year-old son.
Esimweni sami nginendodana ena 18 years.
Besides the emotional and stressful pain that I go, he also goes through this.
Naye njengoba ngicindezelekile nje ngokomzwelo nasengqondweni naye ngokufanayo ubhekene nokucindezeleka okufanayo.
My son is now in matric.
Wenza umatikuletsheni manje undodana.
And the incidents and the toxic situations that I've been placed in is overwhelming and very, very exhausting.
Lesimo lesi singesihle ngibhekene naso uyabona ukuthi siyacindezela futhi siyakhathaza.
I am now asking you to please look at each case differently.
Ngiyanicela ukuthi nibheke isimo ngasinye ngendlela ehlukile.
All right. Okay.
Siyabonga.
Mamela ke.
Listen.
You know, remember kaloku, I said to you, this bill is also looking at that situation that we are exactly presenting in front of us. But your case is also very sensitive because it deals with yourself. And those social workers that are there at the back, I think you also have to go there at the back so that they can assist on what is it that needs to be done. I understand exactly that it's not only social development that is involved in this, it's also justice. You know, justice, many departments are also involved in this. But the social workers are here or are there for you to assist you in this case.
Thank you, ma'am.
Khumbula ke,
To be
njengoba-
so brave, uthethe and ukhulume nge-situation yakho, it is not easy. And it's worse, uthathe leave without pay because you wanted to be here. So we want you to make sure that uhamba una ne explanation, una something, ukona mahlonon, ukona la. You'll see ukuthi uhlangana naye pha at the back or lapho kuni, but go to that table, uzokutshela ukuthi where do we go and what is it that we need to.
Thank you, ma'am.
Siyabonga kakhulu ke konke lokho okukhulumayo khumbula sithe lo mthetho sivivinywa uyakhuluma nangakho. Sase siyasho ke nokuthi ke uma kukuthi udaba lakho lubucayi kakhulu ungalusho la phambi esidlangalaleni ungaya nje lapha etafuleni ubhale phansi bese unikeza ke abasebenzi ke baseParliament bayobe sebedlulisela endaweni efanele kanti bakhona nosonhlala kahle lapha emuva ungahamba uyokhuluma nabo. Siyabona ukuthi indaba ezinjena zithinta iminyango eminingi, umnyango wobulungisa, umnyango wokuthuthukiswa komphakathi, miningi iminyango ethintekayo. Kodwa siyakubonga ngokuthi uze uthathe neleave emsebenzini, sikwazisa kakhulu lokho.
Okay, ubuya kuphi ngoku wena ke?
Where do you come from?
Lo khuluma ngezandla ubuya kuphi ngoku?
You sign language interpreter. Where do you come from?
Watolika nayo ukuthi ubuya phi. Usithile man, yes.
You are blocking the
Angazi
view.
kanimlungise bathu. Usithela ababantu bame apha.
You are blocking the view. People who are behind you, we can't see them, they can't see us. The sign language interpreter.
Can come forward. Oh, now, all right, okay. Yeyingisese nayo nerves. Akusi right ngoku. Kubi lamos. It's not nice. To be here, it's not nice. All painful news. Susi mask, Baba.
Please
and come
remove
closer to
your
the
mask.
To the mic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My name, should I go for it? Okay. So, my name is Yudir Chaturi.
My name is Chaturi.
Yep, and I'm here again representing Fathers for Justice.
Nami ke ngimelele bona obaba bobulungisa.
Now, you've heard a lot from my colleagues.
Senizwe okuningi kulabafowethu abaqeda kusuka la ngaphambili.
And I'll try not to repeat some of the things that they've said.
Ngizozama ukungayiphindi izinto abayishilo.
I will say that being a law-abiding citizen,
Ngizosho ngithi njengoba nje ngiyisakhamuzi esigcina umthetho.
I'm that individual in this country who doesn't have so much as a parking ticket under my name. I am that individual who doesn't have so much as a parking ticket on my name.
Ngiwumuntu empeleni ongenalo ngisho nethikithi lokweqa ukushayela kabi emgwaqeni.
My experiences thus far with the system, and I'll take you through it very quickly,
Ngizokhuluma nje ngisheshise ngokwalokho engike ngabhekana nakho.
has been a heavily biased system.
Ngiye ngabhekana nesimo la kukhethwa kakhulu iphele emasini.
This extends from the family advocates to the maintenance courts,
Kubameli bomndeni bese kuba yinkantolo zesondlo.
and it's something that I've personally struggled to come to terms with.
Impela into nje ngiyibona ingaphezulu kwamandla ami lena.
So in reading through the document very quickly, I understand that some very positive moves have been made in the direction of fathers.
Uma ke ngiyifunda leli pheshana esilitholile ngiyabona ukuthi kuningi okuhle okungathi kuyalungiswa kulungiselwa obaba.
But it seems to me that some of the realities that we encounter in the system are not adequately addressed.
Kodwa kubonakala engathi ezinye inkinga esibhekene nazo azikalungiseki ngokuphelele.
So so in society, I feel there's been a huge shift in the role of mothers and the role of fathers in society.
Kubonakala engathi emphakathini indima yomama nobaba ithe ukushintsha kakhulu.
Traditionally, it was seen that mothers are the main and primary custodian of children, especially girl children.
Ngokwesiko nje bekwaziwa sengathi ke omama ibona ba nelungelo elikhulu einganeni ikakhulukazi uma kungeza amantombazane.
That has changed and changed so significantly
Lokho sekushintshe kakhulu manje.
that I believe the system, and in fact the mindset of people in the system, hasn't changed adequately enough.
Kodwa kubonakala engathi uhlelo lwezinto nesimo sengqondo kubantu asikakashintshi ngokwanele.
When it comes to matters of custody, there are a few primary points that I believe need to be addressed.
Uma kuziwe endabeni yokuthi ubani ozohlala nezingane ngicabanga ukuthi kunamaphuzu amqoka kakhulu okufanele alungiswe.
Firstly, during a custody hearing, whether at high courts, whether at the children's court, whether it's the family advocates,
Uma kunecala lokuthi ingane izohlala nobani kungenzeka isenkantolo yezingane kungenzeka isenkantolo ephakeme noma kuphi nje.
I believe that presiding officers need to give custody on a 50-50 basis
Ngibona sengathi abaphathi bamacala, imantshi, amajaji kufanele bakhiphe isinqumo sokuthi bobabili abazali abathola ingxenye amandla alinganayo ngokuqondene nalokho.
As a starting point,
Kuqalwe lapho nje.
it's quite difficult to talk with the translator, so please bear with me.
Kunzima kakhulu ukukhuluma kukhona umuntu otolikayo ngapha. Ngicela ningibekezelele.
In too many cases, are mothers given the children by default, irrespective of the conditions that the children are being kept in.
Ey'mweni ey'ningi kuvele kuthiwa ingane ayihlale nomama kungakhathaliseki ukuthi izimo zecala noma udaba zihamba kanjani.
The second major issue that needs to be addressed is the concept of parental alienation.
Okunye ke okufanele kulungiswe ilento yokuthi kube nomzali ozovalelwa ngaphandle empilweni yengane.
But some of the fathers that have already spoken have spoken about it, so I won't bend your ear over it. Right?
Labo baba sebedluleke sebekuthintile lokhu ngakho ke ngeke ngisakhuluma ngakho.
The third thing
Okwesithathu
is the silver bullet. The silver bullet is false charges against fathers. False charges.
ukumangelelwa ngamanga ke ngingathi ke enye yezinto ke ezenzekayo.
In so many cases, I've seen that mothers go to the police station and simply lay a charge of abuse against a father. And I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking on behalf of others in the group. Right?
Ngikubonile lokhu kwenzeka omama bevele baye lapha e-station zamaphoyisha beyovula amacala angamanga angisasholo ke mina sengisho labanye obaba nje okuke kwenzeka kubona kuthiwe ubaba unukubeze umntwana.
These fathers, who are good men,
Labo baba abawobaba bahle futhi
are dragged through police stations,
bebe sebehudulwa ke beyofakwa lapha e-station zamaphoyisa
put in lockups
bavalelwe ey'tokisini
over entirely false claims by vindictive mothers.
ngamampunge nje into engekho.
There seems to be no repercussion for this.
Kubonakale ngazuthi ke abajeziswa abantu abenza lezi zinto.
If that accusation makes its way to a family advocate, there is absolutely no way. It's actually a foregone conclusion amongst fathers that if you enter a family advocate's office with a false an accusation, true or not, you will lose your child.
Uma ke lokho kumangalelwa okungamanga sekufika lapha yakumameli bomndeni ubaba lifike limlahle icala bese ke uyoyigcina lapho ke ingane yakhe ngalolo suku.
So I believe that the amendments proposed, while somewhat in the right direction, need to be defined a bit more clearly.
Ngibona ukuthi ke nakuba lo mthetho sivivinywa ubonakala uphokophelele ohlangothini olukahle kakhulu kodwa kusaneyindawane esadinga ukuthi zithi ukuncwelisiswa kahle.
I stand here as a father,
Ngimla njengobaba
somebody that would literally die for my child,
umuntu nje ongayifela ngokoqobo ingane yakhe
but have been robbed of even sufficient contact with her.
kodwa ke ngincishwe nje ngisho nokuthi ke ngibe nesikhashana esanele nayo.
I would say just one more thing, ladies, and thank you for your patience.
Nginganezela nokugodwa nje ngiyanibonga ngokuthi ningibekezelele.
It's an example. Sorry, go for it. We want fathers to step up to the plate.
Sitho baba ke bathi ukukhuphula amasokisi basukume bame ngeinyawo.
But in many instances, and I'll use an analogy here,
Ngizokwenza umzekelo la ezikhathini eziningi.
if you have a child
Umunengane
who sees a cookie jar and wants a cookie from there,
bese lapha esitsheni ubona ikhekhe laphana.
and this child does his best not to take it, but for whatever reason, he's always punished, even when the cookies go missing.
Lengane lena ayiwantshontsha amakhekhe lapha esitsheni kodwa njalo ihlala ishawela ukuthi ke intshontsha amakhekhe lapha esitsheni ibingawantshontshanga njalo makuduka ikhekhe.
He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't take the cookie.
Yenzanga lutho lubi ayithathanga ikhekhe
But he's punished anyway.
kodwa iyajeziswa noma kunjalo.
Sooner or later, that child will take that cookie.
Ngokuhamba kwesikhathi le ngane izogcina ilithathile leli ikhekhe
Because it doesn't matter. He's a criminal either way.
ngoba vele akusho lutho vele sibhekwa njengesoni isigebengu.
And so we find ourselves in a vicious cycle
Sizithola ke sikulomjikelezo ke obuhlungu
where we want fathers to step up,
la sithi ke obaba ke basukume bame ngeinyawo
but the system prevents them from doing so.
kodwa ke kubonakala ngathi uhlelo lwezinto liyabavimba kulokho.
I read all the stories of the fathers out there,
Funda zonke indaba zobaba
and I must tell you, you need to join some of these WhatsApp groups to hear these stories. Come and speak to me.
mawufuna ukuzizwa le indaba ake ungene lapha emaqenjini ko WhatsApp hayi uzoyizwela.
So thank you for hearing me. Those are the points that I wanted to raise. I've refrained from using my own personal experiences, although they are horrific.
Ngiyanibonga ngokuthi ningilalele ngithe nje ngizongakhulumi ngokunye kwami okungithintayo ngoba kuyethusa.
I'm here for you to hear me.
Ngilana kuze ningizwe.
I'm afraid to go back into the system
Angifuni ukubuyela ohleleni lezinto emuva
simply because I realize that it's not the mother that I'm against
ngoba ngiyazi ukuthi akuyena umama lo engilwa naye la.
for the good of my child. It's the system.
Nakhona nje ngenzela ingane yami ngilwa nohlelo lwezinto.
That's a frightening place to be.
Isimo esithusayo kakhulu lesi ukuthi ubhekane naso.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Hey, kunzima la he.
It is
Ndenze
tough
lachonda sangana emqondweni.
It makes me to feel a bit confused.
Andazi where to start and where to finish.
I don't know where to start and where to finish.
Oh, kuthiwa angizwakali ndithi hey madoda kunzima la.
I'm saying it is tough here.
Even in this case sawucela social worker asincedise.
Also in this case, we will ask the
The
social
HOD uyazi
workers
ukuthi it belonga
to help
kuyiphi
us.
section le.
and the HOD also knows to which section does this matter belong to.
Okay. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning to all.
Ngibingelele
Today,
nonke.
all protocols followed. I stand here today to speak on those who cannot speak for themselves, the
Ngilapha
little ones who
namuhla
are unable to.
ngilapha namuhla ukuze ngikhulumele labo abangakwazi ukuthi bayikhulumele izingane ezisencane.
To voice for themselves. I'm an ECD worker. I've been working with children for the last 21 years. I've seen the pain, the heartache that little children go through, seeing how their parents pull each other in a tug of war, trying to prove who's more powerful, who's more able to stand up. They use the system, both parents, mom and dad, use the system for their benefit to show who's more powerful.
All right. Okay.
Nesikhathi
You must,
esingaba
sorry, sis. You must give her to interpret, ne? Yeah.
ngineminyaka ecishe ube u21 ngisebenza lapha kuma ECD noma inkulisa futhi ngiyengabona
Kancane nje. Baba, the previous speaker, azange sitsho whether he adopts okanye he supports the
to
report.
the previous speaker, sir, you didn't say if you support the amended bill or you don't. Do you support,
Awuzange usitshele
do you
ukuthi
support the
support
amended bill?
Sikuzwa kuzofanele uza la.
You'll have to come to the mic.
I find that the bill, as much as I've read, not in its entirety, is that it is a move in the right direction, but more clarity needs to be given.
Nginomuzwa wokuthi lo mthetho osavivinywa uhamba ohlangothini olunembile kodwa kunezinto ezimbalwa okudinga ukuthi zicaciswe kabanzi.
Yeah, if that makes sense. So at this
Uma
point,
lokho
not
ukuthi
supporting.
kuyazwakala.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ngiyabonga.
Thanks. Askis, Mama. Carry on.
Yes, so I was saying that the parents use the system for their benefit. And in the interim, the children are being hurt. The children are being destroyed. They are broken. They cannot speak for themselves because the system does not allow them to speak for themselves. Yes, some are little, they can't speak for themselves. But during this period where the parents is tug-of-warring,
Abazali bonakala belwa phakathi kwabo futhi basebenzisa lolu hlelo ukuze balwe. Ekugcineni ingane izona ezichayekayo noma ezithinteka kabuhlungu phakathi nokulwa kwabazali.
that there is no support for the child. There is no one that can embrace that child and let them know what is going on. These children are feeling that they are the problem for their parents' breakdown.
Akekho obonisa ukusekela noma ukwazisa ingane. Ekugcineni ingane zinomuzwa ukuthi yizona empeleni eziyimbangela yokuxabana kwabazali.
And during these periods where parents are fighting, and sometimes it goes on for 18 years, 21 years, however long, the child feels that they are the problem and they are now broken.
Phakathi naleso sikhathi abazali belwa mhlawumbe bangalwa iminyaka engaba u18 ukuya kwe20 ingane ke zigcine icabanga ukuthi yizona eziyimbangela yalesi simo esinjeni ekhaya.
To a point that they cannot be repaired, to a point where they do not find themselves even as adults. And then we will continue having a broken society, a broken generation.
Ekugcineni bazizwa belimele ngokomzwelo. Lokhu okubangela ukuthi sibe nemphakathi ezwe ubuhlungu newohlokile nemphakathi engenalo uzinzo phakathi kwalo.
I plead with the system to find its way, to find solutions that will help both mums and dads, to re-look at the way things are. I have also been through a personal situation of my own where I'm a foster mom, and the child is now 32 years old. He has not found himself, he is unable to even keep a job because of the brokenness that he's had during the time of his mom and dad fighting when they were divorced.
Ngakho ngiyacela ke ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sithole isombululo salokho ngoba nginomfanyana engiye ngamkhulisa oseneminyaka engaba u32. Lo mfanyana akakwazi ngisho kwawugcina umsebenzi, akakwazi ukuhlala isikhathi eside emsebenzini uma utholile ngenxa yesimo ayewakhulela ngaphansi kwaso esibona.
Pain for the children is too much. It is not their fault. They've never asked to be a part of this. I plead with the system to see that mums and dads can handle the situation fairly. Yes, there are many dads that go through this unfairness. Many times dads are seen as the bad guys. And yes, mums are bad, sometimes bad people too.
Ngiyacela ke ukuthi kube khona isombululo kulokhu ngoba ke kube nenkinga lapho obaba bebhekwa njengabantu ababi. Kodwa ngezinye izikhathi siyasibona ukuthi ngisho nomama nabo empeleni ngezinye izikhathi abalungile kwabona.
So I beseech and I ask humbly, please think of the little ones, for they cannot speak for themselves. They go to bed many times at night crying, unable to ask questions, always thinking it's their fault that this has happened. So I ask you once again very humbly to please consider wherever the system puts in place to better itself for the sake of the children, not just for the mom, not just for the dad, but for the children, for they are the future generation. Thank you.
Ngakho ngiyacela ukuthi lolu hlelo luke licabangele izingane ikakhulukazi ngoba yizona ezithinteka kabuhlungu, yizona ezichayeka ezintweni ezibhlungu. Ungathuthukiswa nje abazali noma obani, kodwa kusizwe izingane ngoba izingane empeleni yizona eziyikusasa lethu.
My question, to answer your question, if I support the bill, I would love to support the bill, but I do think there's more that needs to be looked at before I support the bill. Thank you.
Mayelana nokusekelwa kwalomthetho ovivinywayo, ngiyawusekela lo mthetho ovivinywayo, kodwa ngisenomuzwa ukuthi kunokuthile okumele kunezelwe kulo mthetho.
Ngiyabingelela.
Greetings.
Igama lami Mrs. Thabile Mwandla,
My name is Mrs. Tabile Mwandla,
umsunguli we-organization ebizwa nge-Icebo leNkosi ngomntwana.
the founder of Icebo leNkosi ngomntwana organization,
A child-centered organization.
a child-centered organization.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Nginama comments nje amabili.
I've got 2 comments only.
Eyokuqala ibheke kakhulu kwi-ECD, early childhood development.
The first one is about the ECDs.
I-comment yami ukuthi siyafisa ukuthi abantu abaqala ama-early childhood development centers, phecelezi ama-creche, la kufundiswa khona iy'ngane, kube abantu abanayo i-background, mhlampe yakwa-education noma abanolwazi mayelana ngokusebenza ney'ngane. Kungabi nje
We'd like to see these ECD being started by people who have got background in education, people who are well capacitated in working with children. It shouldn't be by people who are
someone oqeda ukuretire ofuna ukuzigcina ebusy noma obona ngazuthi kunga right ukuthi aqale lo msebenzi.
someone who is just retired, who wants to keep themselves busy, or they feel they can start such a type of business.
IsiZulu sithi umuthi ugotshwa usemanzi.
In English, they say you teach them while they are still young.
Eqinisweni ingane kusukela ebuncaneni bayo ize ikhule kumele ibe developed mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally and socially.
From early childhood, ingane kufanele iqeqeshwe ngokomoya, ngokwengqondo, ngokomzwelo, nangokomzimba.
Lokhu kuqinisekisa ukuthi ingane mayisikhulile izoba i-leader, effective, impactful, futhi eyisibonelo esihle emphakathini.
This ensures that the child will become a very successful leader when they grow up. Futhi ziphumelele kahle.
Manje inkinga esiba nayo kuba khona a very huge gap between abantwana abafunde kuma ECD centers from rural areas and townships nalaba abafunda kondlebe zikhanyelanga.
Manje kubonakala engathi kunegebe elikhulu ke phakathi kweingane ezifunde einkulisa lezi eziseyindaweni ezisemaphandleni bese ke nalezo ke ezifunde ke ku ezikoleni ke zabamhlophe einkulisa zabamhlophe.
Lokhu nje akulimaza ingane ebuncaneni bayo kodwa kuyilimaza kwi-foundation phase. Masisukile la ku-ECD center isiya ka grade 1 to grade 3 iya ku grade 4 to grade 7 ngoba eqaleni ku-ECD center ayizange lithola ulwazi oluphelele nebingakwazi ukulumumatha from an early age.
This has a negative impact on a child as he moves forward from ECD to childhood phase, growing up to the mainstream school, because they did not get proper education or training from the ECD level.
Siyazi futhi ukuthi ama ECD centers ethu amaningi angaphansi kwa Department of Social Development.
We know that most of our ECD centers fall under the Department of Social Development.
Lawa abhekelele kakhulukazi abantu bakithi abamnyama.
Those that primarily focus to our black people.
Kungakho ke ngidlulisa lesicelo ukuthi mhlambe kubhekelelwe phela kwi-curriculum yabantwana kwi-ECD center as well as ama-founders. Umuntu angafiki nje a-register i-NPO yakhe ukuthi uzoba ne-crash, aqale enze imali, kodwa ngingabheki ukuthi kahle yini le ayoyifundisa ingane. Ima uthatha ingane efunde elokishini, uthatha ingane efunde kwi-private ECD center, uyakwazi yini ukuthi ungawubona umehluko ngenxa yokuthi nathi uhulumeni wethu unendaba ne-development yethu ngoba labantwana esibakha namhlanje are our future leaders.
This is my reason why I put this request on the table. People should not just come here and start NPOs and form these ECDs. These ECDs must be looked at. The curriculum there must be looked at. Our government should show that they care about us. There shouldn't be a difference between a child that went to an ECD in rural areas and a child that went to a white ECD.
Esesibili noma umbono wami wesibili ipoint lami lesibili ebengizokhuluma ngalo ele funding for ama organizations asebenza ngabantwana.
My second point is about funding for organizations that work with children.
Kune challenge enkulu la kuma NPOs ngoba siyazi ukuthi once wa register ngaphansi kwa Department of Social Development we non-profit organization.
There is a challenge there, as you know, that once you get registered under the Social Development Department, you are an NPO.
Into eba nzima kakhulu ile yokuthi umuntu mayike wezwe igama elithi NPO ukacabanga ukuthi information noma content onayo noma ama programs onawo for NPO yakho imahala kube ngazuthi mawucela ifunding uyifuna for your benefit bangasibuki njengalawa amanye ama ECD centers or centers that work with children enza into enkulu ezi serious okukhokhwayo bese makuza umuntu omnyama kube ngazuthi inkulu le mali oyifunayo ngesikwazi ukukunikeza kusale kanjalo uthola ukuthi programs akhona to equip our black children akasakwazi uku-executeka because uhulumeni wethu is not funding us.
There is no funding. When they hear that you are an NPO, they just take your matter lightly. All the programs and the info that you provide, they take it lightly because they think it's something that is free. It's unlike those high organizations whom are given much money. So the issue of funding is a huge problem for us.
Okunye futhi esifisa ukuthi silungiselele kona ngoba lama organizations ebengikhuluma ngawo azinye inhlanga kusuke kuyima NPO now.
These other organizations that I've alluded to that belong to other racial groups other than black, they are also NPOs, but they seem to be getting a preference or treated better than us.
Okugcina nje njengabantu abamnyama esisabasha youth if I may say siyaz develop not only to be called graduates or ukuhlonishwa emphakathini kodwa sithola noma sifuna ulwazi oluningi ukuze sizokwazi uku-equipa abasilandelayo manje kuba khona inkinga mangabe sizozifunela silifune ulwazi thina ngokwethu bese mangabe sifanele sithole imali ezokwazi ukusisiza si-execute lento sivinje uyena uhulumeni lo othi usebenzisana nathi so singakuthokozela ukuthi uhulumeni asebenzisane nathi ukuze sisize abantwana abasilandelayo so that we have impactful, effective and exemplary leaders for tomorrow.
As black youth, we try to develop ourselves. We are graduates. We try and get information, knowledge not to better ourselves, but also to benefit those who are coming behind us. So we are really urging the government to support us in that, because we're not only benefiting ourselves, but we are also helping others in the community.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
I am in support of the bill.
Ngiyaweseka lo mthetho sivivinyo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies, committee members.
Nginibingelele bonke namalungu ekomiti.
My name is Kuben Kirsten.
Igama lami nguKudien Kirsten.
I'm from Pietermaritzburg. I represent myself and my one-year-old son, Ivan Kirsten. I'm also
Ngivela lapha ePietermaritzburg, ngimelela mina nendodana yami.
I'm also part of the Fathers for Justice group.
Ngiyingxenye yobaba bobulungisa.
And I'm not going to go into my personal story. It's, I think, equivalently as terrible as my friends here that have been through.
Angeke ngize ngikhulume ngodaba oluthinta mina ngoba lucishe lifane nalokhu ozakwethu abakhulume ngakho.
So what I'm going to appeal to the committee to do is to, I want to request or recommend that the committee consider including something in the Act, a provision that addresses parental alienation. It's not just a phenomenon anymore, it's a reality.
Ngizocela ukuthi ikomiti like licabangele ukuthi lifake phakathi mayelana ukucheliselwa eceleni kobaba noma ukwenza ukuthi obaba bangabi nengxenye ekukhulisweni kwengane zabo.
Around about 50 to 75% of fathers, dads out there face this when it comes to divorce.
Obaba abacishe ababe u60% ukuya ku70% abahlukanisayo noma abadivorceayo babhekana nalenselele.
And I think institutions like the Family Advocate, who are supposed to uphold equal parenting rights, fail at affording dads the opportunity to raise their kids.
Ngicabanga ukuthi imkhandlu yabameli bamakhaya okumele ukuthi kube iyona esizayo ukuthi obaba nabo babe nelungelo einganeni zabo noma bakwazi ukuba nelungelo elifana nomama ayikwazanga ukuthi isize.
Yeah, I would like the committee to look at parental alienation. I would suppose or suggest including a section that defines parental alienation in the Act and also stipulates the consequence of parental alienation. I'm suggesting that it be a punishable offense if either parent has to do that to the other parent.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ikomiti like licabangele ukuhlukaniswa komzali nengane ukuthi kube yinto engathi sinale kubhekisiswe kube nesijeziso futhi lokhu kucacisa ukuthi uma umuntu ekwenza ukuthi ahlukanise umzali nengane yakhe ajeziswe kanzima.
Because very often the parent that's accusing the other parent or making allegations of abuse or and so on go unpunished. And when you go to the authorities, nothing is done because the authorities are too busy catching criminals than worrying about parental problems.
Ngoba ngezinye ikhathi uma kuba nomzali osolwayo lo mzali osolwayo uyabekwe ngisho namacala okuhlukumeza lapha ekhaya ngakho kumele lokho kubhekwe ngoba uma uya kulaba abanegunya lokuthi bangasiza uthola ukuthi empeleni babhizi kakhulu abakwazi ukuthi basize babhizi nokubamba igebengu.
Okay, so in summary, just 3 things. Please look at the parental alienation problem that's systemic in our country now. Look at including it into the act with consequences for those parents who transgress in this manner. And lastly, I would ask the committee to
Okugcina ngizocela nje ukuthi kuke kubhekwe lokhu ukuhlukaniswa komzali nezingane uchibiyelwe nakho lapha emthethweni ngoba uma lokho kungenziwa kanjalo ngeke kuze kusiza abazali futhi kuzoba ngobhlungu emkhayeni.
And lastly, I would like to ask the committee that if they could, what is it now? Oh yeah, look at the Family Advocate's Office and probably ensure that they depart from a 50-50 scenario rather than giving the dad 4 days in a month and then he needs to fight for his 50%.
Ngicela futhi ukuthi ikomiti like libheke lokho kushiwo yilaba bameli bemkhaya ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi okungenani umzali ngamunye bamnikeze inani elilinganayo noma elu50-50 ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi banakekele ingane ngendlela efanayo kunokuthi nje obaba banikezwe izinsuku ezine ngenyanga ukuthi babone ingane zabo.
Apologies. And lastly, I would like to request the committee look at the report from the Commission of Gender Equality that was recently issued, I think it was in September, where the report from the Commission of Gender Equality outlines how fathers are being treated through the system. It details parental alienation. It formally defines it as well. So I think the committee can get value from that report.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ikomiti uma lingake libheke lapha emthethweni okhuluma ngokulingana ngokubulili libheke lo mthetho ngoba ukhuluma kabanzi mayelana nokuhlukaniswa komzali enganeni.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Excuse me, the previous speaker, do you support the bill or not?
Uyayeseka ibill noma cha? Yes, I support the bill.
Okay. Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Ngiyabingelela igama lami nguSamngelisiwe Mkhwani.
Greetings, my name is Samngelisiwe Mkhwani.
Ngiqhamuka eManzimtoti organization Child Welfare.
I come from Amanzimtoti from the Child Welfare Organization.
Ngiyavumelana nomthethosivivinyo.
I support the amendment bill.
Ngibonile i-Children's Act 38 of 2005 iba namandla kakhulu.
I witnessed firsthand the power that the Children's Act of 2005 has.
Ikakhulukazi kubantwana abahlukumezekile physically, emotionally, socially and mentally.
Ikakhulukazi kubantwana labo, for children who have been abused ngokomoya, ngokomzimba, ngokwengqondo.
Ngibabonile abantwana beqoqeka ongangokuthi ngithi ukube kuthiwa le act ayikho angazi ukuthi ngaba abantwana baphila impilo ekanjani.
I've seen children being kept safe to such an extent that I do wonder as to where would we be without this act.
Ngibonile ngenelela kakhulu le act kubazali abanganaso isimilo.
I saw it assisting in terms of parents who are not having good parenting skills.
Ngingasho nje abadla iphuzo utshwala ngokweqile nalaba abadla idakamizwa nalaba abangakuboni ukubaleka kokuyisingane esikoleni.
Those who are alcoholics, who use substance, who indulges in substance abuse, and those who fail to send their children to school.
Ngubonile lo mthetho ubagqugquzela osonhlala kahle ukuthi basusa abantwana kubazali abanalolu hlobo lobudedengu.
I saw this act encouraging welfare social workers to take away children from such parents who are irresponsible.
Futhi njengoba ngikhuluma nje ziningi ingane ezisesikoleni, ziningi ingane ezisemahome, ziningi ingane ezikuma foster care ngenxa yalomthetho sivivinyo.
As we speak, there are many children who are at school of foster care homes as we speak, and they benefit from this act.
Ngiubonile futhi usiza lo mthetho lo kubazali kubantwana abanganazi certificate because uyaqhuquzela nalapho futhi ekutheni umntwana enzele certificate especially lezi ingane lezo thola ukuthi umzali uyizalile wangayenzela certificate wahamba wayishiya nogogo.
It also helped children who do not have birth certificates. There are those children who are born and their parents have abandoned them. They are living with their grandparents. This act has assisted many of such kids.
La ngiyengibona khona kukhona i-challenge ila khona makuzofika ubaba wengane ezofuna ukwenzela ingane certificate.
I only saw a challenge when a father comes and he wants to get a birth certificate for a child.
Ngoba makanjalo kusuke fanele ukuthi ubaba hamba ayokwenza i-DNA test, so uthola ukuthi abanye bayahlupheka abakwazi ukukhokha imali le ye-DNA.
When that issue comes up, the father has to go for a DNA test. In most cases, they do not have money because the DNA test is expensive.
Angazi ukuthi ke besingabasiza kanjani ubaba ukuthi mhlambe lapho kuzama ukuqinisa ukuthi uma eyokwenza i-DNA ehambisana nokuthi ufuna ukwenzela ingane certificate kuke mhlambe kubukwe i-best interest yomntwana kubonakala ukuthi bangaxhaswa kanjani.
I wonder how we can help in such a situation, because when a father has to get a birth certificate for a child, that will benefit the child. I think that is what we should pay attention to, the benefit of the child.
Kubonile futhi lo mthetho bewuhlukumeza abazali ngokuzala umuntu elebelezalile ngisho azi kahle ukuthi akakwazi ukuyigcina izingane zakhe ihleli kuma social worker nasemahome.
Yeah, I also saw this act assisting in terms of parents who continue to give birth to children who end up at foster care homes.
Ngibabonile abazali bewuhlukumeza lo mthetho bezala izingane ngisho azi ukuthi ikuma social worker akakwazi ukuyigada kodwa aqhubeke libelezalile azi ukuthi unalo social worker lizoyithatha.
I saw it intervening and assisting in terms of parents who continue to give birth to children whom they can't even look after, to children who end up being taken by social workers to foster care homes.
Angazi ukuthi umthetho ungaqiniswa kanjani ekutheni usize lapha kulabazali othola ukuthi akaphilile ekhanda uyazala ulibelezalile uma sezalile futhi ingane yakhe ithathu uthola ukuthi ulibelezalile angazi ukuthi mhlambe ngenziwa kanjani ukuthi bajova.
I wonder how the law can help us in terms of parents who are mentally disabled but who continue to give birth to children. I wonder, is there perhaps an injection that can be used to stop them from continuing to give birth?
Ngengaba ne challenge case kanjalo la khona uthola ukuthi umzali ulezalile akaphilile ekhanda kwashiwe esibhedlela ukunodokotela ama social worker ukuthi kudingakala umndeni ozosayina esimeni somuntu kanjeyana konganawo ngisho umndeni ozosayina angazi ukuthi ngigaqiniswa kanjani.
I have dealt with a situation like that where this mentally disabled parent kept on giving birth to many children, but now when came a time for that parent to be assisted, they said there has to be a family member to stand in for her and sign on her behalf. But the problem was that there was not even anyone from her family to stand in and sign on her behalf.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bese ashilo ukuthi uyawusupporta umthetho.
Thank you very much. She mentioned that she supports the amended bill.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke.
Greetings to everyone.
Igama lami nguNomusa wakwaJali.
My name is Nomusa Jali.
We Inkanyezi encane Educare Center eSelamonville.
I'm from Inkanyezu Educare Center in Lamontville.
Ngisukuma nokuyisupporta iamendment bill.
I just want to mention that I support the amendment bill.
Ngiphakamisa ukubonga kuhulumeni wethu ngokuthi asibize sizoba ingxenye yalo mhlangano.
I want to thank the government for allowing us to have part in this meeting.
Ngibonga kakhulu kule ndima le ethinta obaba, ngicela ngizophakamisa yona kakhulu. Lapha esikoleni sengibe uprincipal kusukela ngo2009.
I just want to thank you on the matter that talks about their fathers, because I've been a principal for almost 21 years.
Ngibonile indima edlalwa obaba einganeni zabo.
I've seen the role that the fathers have in their children.
Ngibabonile obaba beyihlupha ngeingane zabo ikakhulukazi nangama activities enzeka esikoleni.
I've seen the fathers supporting their children, especially with some of the activities that will be done at the school.
Ngilibonile futhi nothando obaba abathanda ngalo izingane zabo esikoleni.
I've also seen the love that the fathers have towards their kids.
Bekungihlupha kakhulu ukuthi ngithi ngibone ukuthi obaba banendima enkulu abayidlalayo empilweni zeingane zabo esikoleni, kodwa kukhona konke lokho kube khona la ebencisheka khona amathuba einganeni zabo.
It bothered me a lot when I saw that the fathers have such a good role towards their kids, but they are not given enough chance to play a bigger role.
Siyathemba ukuthi lama amendments azokwenza ukuthi nakuthina baphathi baseyikoleni umsebenzi wethu ubelula, sesizokwazi ukuthi sisebenzisane nabazali bobabili kanye ubaba kanye nomama wengane.
I think this will make it easy towards us as the educators, so that we can work with both parents.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Ella. Also supporting.
Did you support the bill?
Yes, I support
Thank
the bill.
you very much.
Ngiyawusekela umthetho, siyabonga.
Ngiyabingelela bonke basendlini ngesibingelelo sithi makadunyiswe Jesu Kristu.
Greetings to everyone in the house with a slogan that says, "Praise be to Jesus Christ."
Amen.
Amen.
Lo ongaphambili ubusisiwe Bhengu,
I am Busisiwe Bengo,
the principal of the Licebo ECD Center in the rural area, Umlazi Township.
Tisha nhloko welicebo ECD Center elokishini laseMlazi.
Ngisukuma nokukhulu ukubonga nokusupporta ibill.
I am very grateful for the bill, and I do support it.
Yes. Usihlalo uke wathi me unpacker umhlangano wethu lesinawo njengamanje.
During the chairperson's opening remarks.
Kwakhona okungijabulisayo ngale act from 2005 abayibona ukuthi isidingo yokuthi kuvulwe ama center emakhaya.
I became very pleased with the act that began in 2005 in terms of the ECDs that are being opened at people's homes.
Engikuthandile kakhulu, you don't just open kodwa uhamba ama channels afanelekile uzuthole isidingo wamukeleke uthole nama certificate uma ukwazi ukwenza iprogram yakho ibe right.
What I appreciated the most is that you don't just open an ECD center. You have got to go through proper channels and follow proper procedures and get legal certificates to conduct it.
Angincomeke futhi iAct ngokuthi ikwenze lokho.
I commend the bill for that.
Ukuze ikwazi ukavoida ukuthi yinoma ubani othi mevuka phuphe bese cabanga ukwenza ibusiness ngomntwana.
To cap the issue of having any Tom, Dick and Harry coming forward and forming ECD centers.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi kubalulekile kakhulu ukuthi uma uzovula iECD center wazi ukuthi uzokwenza njani, wenzani ngalezi ngane, yini okufanele uyenze ukuze labantwana bakwazi ukuba nekusasa elihle.
It is very important to know the procedure and follow it and know what children's need and how to look after them before you can open an ECD, just to ensure that children are successful and they have a bright future.
Ngikushiso lokho ukuthi ngisebenzile nabantwana for 32 years.
I worked with children for 32 years.
Ingakho ngithi ngiyayincoma iAct eParliament ukuthi isivumele ukuthi abantwana baqhubeke bavule emakhaya.
Hence, I really commend the Act for allowing us to open these ECDs at homes.
Esikubalileke konke esesikuzwile kule Act okuhle kukhona nalokho kokubhekelela ama disability abantwana.
We also read about the issue of how to take care of children with disability.
Though sine problem encane ngokuaccepta abantwana abane disability.
Although we have a slight problem about accepting children with disability,
but we do.
Yet we do accept them.
Yes,
I myself, I do it.
Yes. Mhlambe isizathu salokho ukuthi ngiyakubhekelela ukuthi kungaba idisability enjani engakwazi ukuthi ngidile nayo nomntwana uma isengaphakathi kwi-center.
For me, I assess the type of disability the child has to see if I can manage.
Nanokuxoxisana nomzali.
And I also engage in discussions with the parent.
For instance, umzali umefika ayibike inkinga yomntwana wakhe, ma'am, ngoba the key here is the money. Ma'am, anginayo imali yokuthi ngihambise umntwana wami to that special school. At the same time, angifuni ahlale ekhaya. Can you please help me while ngisafuna indawo yokuthi umntwana wami ahamba yekuyona? With that reason, then bese ngiyam-accept umntwana. Kodwa mangibona ukuthi uzokwazi ukubhekeleleka.
The parent will come and will have a discussion. The parent will tell me that, ma'am, look, I've got a problem. I do not have money. But at the same time, I do not want my child to sit at home and not go to school.
By so saying, ngicela abanga DSD bangangishayi ukuthi ngizithathela umthetho. Ngoba ngokaka DSD abavuma ukuthi abantwana abane disability sibathathe kuma center. But ka Department of Education ikhona leyo room yokuthi umntwana ungamthatha umgcine e-center while umzali esafunela umntwana i-center correct for umntwana.
I know the Department of Social Development will punish me for this because they don't allow us to take these kids from centers and bring them to the ECDs. But I know that the
Department of Education? Oh. Oh, ngoba vela kusekuningi bengizama ukuthi ngihlanganise uDSD no Department of Education. So kude contradiction encane but engaxabanisi iya ngokuthi nje udila ngendlela ecorrect yini ngoba masubona ukuthi sekune problem you have to go to DSD ema officeini uyosho ukuthi kunenkinga ethize ngengane. Therefore okunye ke futhi ebengibonga ngeparliament ngale act siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi kube nale shifting ezokwenzeka very soon yokushifta from DSD to Department of Education.
We are also grateful for the fact that the ECD level will be moving to the Department of Education.
Ngicabanga ukuthi le act izosiza futhi kakhulu ku curriculum yokuthi ezomunyuza kwethu ebekile i-curriculum ezosebenza la izosebenza kuwona wonke umuntu we-ECD.
This will help us a great deal in terms of the curriculum because the curriculum that will be used will apply across the board.
Even the program as well izofana futhi kuwona wonke ama-ECDs uma sesiya lapha ku-Department of Education.
That also applies to the program that will be used. It will be similar.
Siyabonga kakhulu ngokuthi nisibhekelele kuleyo ndawo.
Thank you very much for that.
Alikho isoko elingenasici. Sisho njalo isiZulu.
Nobody is perfect, they say in English.
Sinesicelo
We have a request
kubaphathi bethu eParliament ukuthi kule act bekunganjani ukuthi ke besibhekelele ngegrant.
Can you also include the grant point on this bill?
I-grant engibhekisele kuyona abaphathi ebhekelene mhlambe nokuxhaswa kwabasebenzi ababhekelele abantwana ezikhungweni zethu. Ake ngenze nje i-example.
That grant will fund the teachers who work at ECDs.
Ngifuna nje ukwenza example not necessarily ukuthi mhlambe bazothi ukhokha imali engaka but kube mhlambe ne minimum wage ezosho ukuthi mhlambe uthisha osebenza ku ECD center kube plus minus 3,000 or 2,005. I'm just making an example.
It's an example. Let's have some form of a minimum wage. Perhaps you could say a teacher from the ECD center is getting paid 3,000 or 2,000. It's just an example.
That's a plea.
Ngiyacela nje ukuthi mhlawumbe singakwenezela yini lokhu kulomthetho sivivinyo.
Isizathu esenza ukuthi ngisicele lesi sicelo ukuthi ngokwama programs esinawo siyabonga kakhulu ka DSD ngokuthi basenzise kube khona ama forums nama programs la esicapacity sign khona sitholelelana ulwazi ukuze sihambe siyolibeka lapha ebantwaneni. But inkinga bese kuba ukuthi sebe trainiwe labantwana labo thisha laba sebebona ukuthi imali yalana incane sebeyahamba baya kulaba abanye abanemali engcono. I reason for that ukuthi bona bakhokhisa more school fees than us. Thina sicabangela the rural people kodwa bayakwazi uku-afford bayihambise bangali. Yingakho nje iplay yami ngiyibhekisa eParliament.
The problem is that at ECDs where we are, we've got teachers who teach there, and I am very thankful to the Department of Social Development. We've got these forums, these programs where our teachers are trained and are capacitated. When they come back from such trainings and programs, they start realizing that what we are giving them or paying them is too less. And then they run away to more established ECDs who are charging more school fees. Hence, they are able to pay these guys more better than we do. So that is why I request this from Parliament members.
Yes. Ngizokusho nje lokhu ngingakuhlanazi. Mina, where I come from, ku rural area, izingane esizifundisayo mhlambe in my particular center. Ziyahamba ziye kuma white schools, I'm sorry to put it in that way, noma ziye kuma lezi ikole ezithe ukuthi kancane. And I am so proud of saying that izingane zami they cope and they got top 2 or 3. Zibe ziphuma la ku rural area ku center yami. I can name them all. Ngiyaziqhenya nje kakhulu ngale lokhuzana enasenzela yona le act ukuthi abantwana sikwazi ukubanikeza ithuba lokuthi sibakhulise ngeupbringing yaka education.
I'm very thankful for this act. You know, where I come from, local children go to multiracial schools. But I'm very proud to say my kids are doing very well academically. They are getting top 2s, top 3s. So top I'm very ones. Top 1s, even yes. Top 1s. So I'm very pleased with that.
Yes. Siyabonga kakhulu like nje sengiyazidayisa through you ukuthi ngoba sengithola ithuba. I'm going to have the alumni graduation ceremony this year.
Now, I think I am marketing myself now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my first alumni graduation ceremony coming up soon.
You know, my guests are the grade R's. I mean, my students abaphume la engiba invitile from the white schools. And only ngakuthathela cell phone yami manje, one of the principal from the she sent me an email. She said she is so proud, very proud. Ngoba ngicele abantwana laba abancane ukuthi bazoba ama guest. Ake ngime ngeingisi zenza abantu abadala. Ake nibone le product esiyenzayo thina la ukuthi sinikeza into enjani mase sihambisa. Siyabonga kakhulu kakhulu kakhulu.
Imenywa zami kulo mcimbi lowo kube kuyingane zalapha kwa grade R eziyobe zikhona zimenyiwe. Ngingakubonisa ngisho nocingo lwami lasephaketheni umakhalekhukhwini ngithunyelwe umyalezo omunye uthisha wale ikole lezi ezasemazingeni akahle kakhulu hayi uchazekile impela uchazekile ake siyeke ke indaba yeingisi lezi ke manje nginibonise nje umkhiqizo wami ke lo ngikhuluma ngawo
izingisi zabantu abadala kufanele nizobona lezi azingane zami.
Oh, older people English.
Siyabonga kakhulu siyayisupporta kakhulu i-act.
We do support the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. But because of time, again, we started very late. So we were behind by an hour. So we must try to make it catch up. Can we then sinikeze the next speaker? Sizokhona kaloku to give the opportunity for social development and the members zikhona ukuhlomla places.
Sibonga kakhulu ke mama ngokuthi nawe ukhuluma siqale sekwephuzile empeleni silele ngehora kodwa ke nokho ke sizonikela futhi indambo ukuthi nomnyango wezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi nawo ukwazi ukuthi ukhulume emva kwalokho.
Ngisukuma nokubingelela.
I would like to greet everyone.
Ngaphambi kwenu unombuso wakaphewa oqashwe iNGO iAssociation for the Physically Challenged eseThekwini.
In front of you it's Nombuso
Phewa.
Nombuso Phewa. I'm from an NGO.
Association for the Physically Challenged.
The Association for the Physically Challenged.
eseThekwini.
In eThekwini.
Usonhlala kahle obhekelele indawo yaseMbumbulu.
I'm a social worker in Mbumbulu.
Ukusukuma kwami ngithanda ukusupporta kakhulu umqulu lo
esize ngawo la namhlanje.
By standing here, I would like to say that I support this amendment bill.
Ngithema ngabe ngiwubuka ngatha ihlo lami lithathwe uclause 7 no clause 98.
When I looked at this amendment bill, I really liked clause 7 and clause 8.
Oh, 98, not 8. Okay, engithema ngikubheka, siyazi ukuthi uhulumeni wethu usezamile ngakho konke, noma uzame ngokusemandleni wakhe ukuthi abhekelele abantwana, aphinda abhekelele futhi nabantwana abakhubazekile kanjalo nabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka.
I would like to thank our government because he has tried his best, especially to help the children who are disabled.
Okay, singithema sibheka la, ngingathanda ukuthi uhulumeni wethu masibuyela kumalungelo abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka esingathi masisebenzisa i-correct term sithi it's people living with disabilities or people with disabilities.
We would like to say to the government, instead of saying people living with disability, we say people with disability.
Kune challenge enkulu or ngathi kunengqinamba enkulu mase sibheka eindaweni zasemakhaya.
There is a challenge, especially in the rural areas.
Sike sithi masibheka sithola ukuthi amalungelo abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka emakhaya noma abantwana abaphila nokukhubazeka kuhamba kuhambe kube khona ama gaps abakhona noma kuhamba kuhambe uthola ukuthi kunendlela la othola ukuthi awabhekelelekile khona ngendlela efanele.
Sometimes we see, when we look at the rights of people with disability, we see that there are certain gaps where they are not properly fixed so that they can be able to, or we can be able to help people with disability.
Bengathanda kakhulu ukuthi uhulumeni wethu asibhekele kwilungelo kakhulu lemfundo. Njoba kushiwo kuthiwa akekho umntwana okungafanele athole imfundo, bonke abantwana kumele bathole imfundo.
I would like our government to look at the matter, especially of education, because the government says there's no child who shouldn't get proper education.
Eindaweni zasemakhaya sithola ukuthi izikole ama special schools awekho easily accessible noma akufikeki kalula kuwona for abantwana.
In the rural areas, we find that the special schools are not easily accessible, especially to the kids who are disabled.
Lokho kuholela ekuthenini umzali ahlale nomntwana ekhaya. Sike sibheke ukuthi ngesikhathi umzali ehleli nomntwana enomntwana okhubazekile, lo mzali emqondweni wakhe usuke nalento yokuthi umntwana asikho isidingo sokuthi amyise esikoleni ngoba uphila nokukhubazeka.
Sometimes we find other parents, they think that there's no need for taking their kids who are with disability to the schools because they think it's not necessary.
At the same time, mangabe usufikile ekhaya usonhlala kahle, usumbonisa umzali ukuthi kunesidingo sokuthi umntwana aye esikoleni ukuze ezokwazi ukuthi athole imfundo.
As a social worker, when we go to such homes, we try and show the parents why it's necessary for the kids to get educated.
Bese sifika ke la engathi khona sisuke sesifika engathi mhlawumbe semphela ndaba ngoba uthola ukuthi umndeni usendaweni esemakhaya kakhulu, then izikole nazo zikude abakwazi ukuthi bafinyelele kuzona.
Sometimes we find families who live far in the rural areas, places where it's like a dead end where you are.
Abanye uthola ukuthi ngisho bezokwazi ukuthi umntwana asithole isikole, kodwa kuba ne challenge yokuthi i-transport bazomsusa kanjani ekhaya baze bese bayomfikisa esikoleni ngenxa ukuthi isikhathi esiningi kusuke kwabantu abaphila impilo ehlwempu.
Sometimes you find other families, they are so poor, they can't even have transport for their kids or to transport them to the closest special school because they are living in poverty.
Bese siphinde sibe nabantwana abanama severe disabilities.
And we have kids who have severe disabilities.
Labo ilaba esingathi ukukhubazeka kwabo usuke most yabo besebenzisa amanapukeni abanye bengakwazi nokuthi bakhulume noma bazenzele izinto.
Other severe disabilities, you find other kids, they have to wear nappies, others can hardly speak.
Labo bantwana ngisho uthola ukuthi umzali uyazi ukuthi kufanele amiyise esikoleni, unesifiso sokuthi amiyise esikoleni, kodwa baba nenkinga yokuthi babatholele ikole ngenxa yokukhubazeka komntwana asuke nakho.
Sometimes you find that the parents actually, they wish to take such kids to their school, but because of the situation, they can't easily take them to school.
Bese ngicela ukuya ku clause 98 engibone ukuthi kuzokhona umehluko ozokwenziwa ngama rehabilitation kubantwana abaphila nokukhubazeka.
Then I want to go to clause bani?
98.
To clause 98, where it speaks about rehabilitation of children living with disability.
Bengakujabulela mangabe uhulumeni wethu engaphinde futhi ababhekelele abantwana abaphila nokukhubazeka ukuthi kukwazi ukuthi especially eindaweni zasemakhaya kube khona ama rehab centers azoba seduze nemindeni.
I would like the government to look at the matters of, especially in the rural areas, if we could have rehabilitation centers that are closer to the people.
Lokhu ngikushiso ukuthi sike sithole ukuthi kuneyingqinamba futhi zokuthi abazali bahambise abantwana ezibhedlela ngenxa ukuthi kumele ba travel kakhulu basebenzise imali eningi ukufikelela ezibhedlela okusuke kuyimali abasuke bengenayo.
I'm saying this because some of the parents, you find that they have a challenge of taking their kids to the hospital because most of these parents, you find that they live in dire poverty.
Labo bazali bagcina sebebayekisa abantwana ukuthi bahambe ezibhedlela for ama rehabilitation services through ukuthi abakwazi ukumelana nezindleko.
Those parents, they end up dropping the matter of taking the kids to those hospitals for rehabilitation because they have no money to take these kids to such facilities.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Sanibona, ngibingelela chairperson amalunga ahloniphekile asebenzele iParliament, ngibingelela abaka DSD, ama interpreters nabonke ama dignitaries akhona.
Greetings to the chairperson, the honorable members, the DSD officials, the interpreters, all stakeholders who are in this house.
Omile ngaphambili Sibusiso akamthethwa.
Igama lami, my name is Sibusiso Mthethwa.
Sibusiso ngicela ususe imask.
Please,
and then
Sibusiso.
ubuye uyifake mawuceda uthetha.
Remove your mask. You will put it on after you have spoken.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Ngivela kwi-organization ekuthiwa the Just Forward Foundation. Sebenzi wethu ukulwa kakhulu nokuhlukunyezwa kwabantwana ngokocansi, the Just Forward Foundation.
Ngivela ke enhlanganweni ebizwa nge-Just Forward Foundation that deals with it is fighting against children abuse.
Siyalwa ke kakhulu ne gender based violence nakubona abantu abadala.
We also fight gender-based violence for adult people.
Umsebenzi wami ngisebenza njengo awareness coordinator, ngiphinde futhi ngilekelela ama victim to get justice.
I am the awareness coordinator and I also help victims to access justice.
Ekusebenzeni kwami sengisebenze ne-organization iminyaka cishe emihlanu.
I've worked with the organization for 5 years.
But previously bengisebenza nenye organization la bengisebenza khona ukudesign ama programs for ingane ne youth.
Previously, I worked for a certain organization where I designed programs for children and youth.
Ngifocuseke kakhulu kuma prevention programs.
I focus more on prevention programs.
Ukunika nje ilight kulokho ebengikwenza ukuthi ngenze isiqiniseko sokuthi if kunama social ills noma kunama challenges abhekene nezingane ne youth bese ngidesigna ama programs azokwenza ukuthi izingane zingayitholi zikwi trap noma zibhekene nalawo ma challenges.
Just to shed some light, what I used to do is to make programs that deal with, if let's say there are social ills or social challenges that are facing children and youth in community, I would design programs that deal with that.
Okay, kodwa ke engikuzelela ngaphambili nakho ngibhekile umthetho noma ngakabi naso isikhathi eside sokubukisisa kahle.
The reason why I'm here, I can say that I've looked at the amendment bill.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi sibheke lezi ihlokwane ezimbalwa ngizocela uqala ngasekugcineni kulokhu obekusherwa yilo obela ngaphambili.
I will touch on a very few of subheadings, but I will begin by what the previous speaker said.
Department of Education ke unohlelo lokuthi uma umntwana slow learner kube khona process abayenzayo whereby they invite umntwana, they invite lentuzana umzali eze esikoleni afike esikoleni kube khona uhlelo oluthile abalwenzayo ukuthi umntwana uzoba mhlambe kukhona uhlelo abazolenza nomzali ekutheni bamonitor for isikhathi esithile ukuze babone ngempela ukuthi lo mntwana uyislow learner.
The Department of Education does this. When a child is a slow learner, they call a parent to school and then they discuss that with a parent and then they place this child on a certain program to monitor how the child performs.
Lolu hlelo ngicabanga ukuthi lithatha mhlambe inyanga ezintathu bese ke umntwana abese edluliselwa kuleyo district noma ayobona psychologist yaka Department of Education.
That program takes about 3 months and then the child is passed on to the district where they can see the psychologist or psychiatrist who will assist the child further.
Ozobeke lo psychologist asho exactly ukuthi lo mntwana ama challenges akhe ekufundeni imaphi.
This psychologist will then state exactly what challenges are facing that child in school.
Ngoba kunokwenzeka ukuthi o dyslexia kunokwenzeka ukuthi okunye nokunye miningi imkhakha kulabantwana abama slow learners.
You may find that it is dyslexia or other forms of conditions. It could be various kinds of conditions.
Okay, kodwa ke lolu hlelo kuthina njengabantu abama stakeholders asebenza nomphakathi sithi sigcine sithola ukuthi alisebenzi kahle ngoba uthola ukuthi umntwana mhlambe bazoloke bemdlulisa ngoba abantu abayinkinga la ama role players iwona uthola ukuthi noma understand the process but awayenzi kahle.
We have seen this program to be a bit ineffective due to various role players that are participating in the program.
Ikakhulukazi othisha ngoba uthisha bathola ukuthi bayiphusha ingane uthola ukuthi mayisifika ka grade 5 la sekunzima khona ngempela uthola ukuthi ingane adile ukuyiphushwa noma ifeyila uthola ukuthi mhlawumbe ingane isina 16 yila isirefer khona ka education ikhane diagnose ingane ukuthi lengane le ine problem yokuba islow learner sekuyikhane ke kufanele irefer esikoleni seingane ezinaleyo condition uthola ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi kulezo ikole ayisa acceptwa ngenxa ukuthi isi overage.
The primary problem here is the teachers. Because when they notice that the child is a slow learner, what they do, they keep on condoning the child to the next level. They condone this child, and the child is growing at the time. Perhaps when the child gets to grade 5, that's when maybe the child is 16 years. That's when they realize that this child has got a problem, and then they send the child for diagnosis, yet you find that it is very late now.
Ezinye uthola ukuthi zireferiwe ePinetown ngizokhuluma nje ePinetown ngoba iyona ilentuzana isikhungo saka education eseduze engijwayele ukusebenzisana naso uthola ukuthi ireferiwe ingane uthola ukuthi kuphele isikhathi eside ingane ayiyi ku psychologist.
Some are referred to Pinetown. I will make mention of Pinetown because that is the education center that is nearby to me. Then children are sent there, and then you find that they are very old to be there now. It's very late for them to be assisted.
Okay, inkinga yami ukuthi umthetho uma udraftwa phansi noma umuhle ekutheni uvikela abantwana noma usupport ekutheni umntwana abe nalilungelo lokufunda uthola ukuthi lo mthetho ama role players ayikho iphathi yomthetho le eba restrictor noma ebabophayo ebabophezela ukuthi mhlambe within 7 days leyo ngane efanele ni refer within isikhathi esithile leyo ngane akusafanele ngabe ilapha uthola ukuthi ukhona nje ukuthi nansi process okufanele ukuyilandela kodwa in terms of ukuthi unikwe i time frame ukuthi esikhathini esingaka afanele kubusa ukwenzile lokho failing which mhlawumbe uzobhekana nengalo yomthetho ayikho into enjalo kwibill yethu.
The bill is good in terms of assisting and protecting children, but when it comes to dealing directly with the key role players, it needs to be upgraded there or updated there. At least set time frames for them. Monitor as when they assist children, those role players must be informed as to where they should be at what point in time. There must be time frames, timelines that are put in place.
I'm worried that the rain is coming and it might be storm or floods. So fanele si sheshe kancane khona uza ne point ke manje uqale nje wandlalela. If ikhona enye point baba ngena kuyona sesikuvile siyibambile umthetho le.
Okay.
Input yakho.
Ukuvikeleka kweingane noma amalungelo ngiyabonga chair.
Thanks chair.
Ngiyaxolisa sengiyashesha nami. Ukuvikeleka kwamalungelo abantwana maqona nemfihlo nolwazi oluyimfihlo nengasese lengane o introducewayo la O6A laphana kumaphepha ethu 2.3 angazi noma bakubhekile yini ukuthi umntwana uma ehlukunyezwa ngokocansi ekhaya kubhekelekile yini ukuthi lo mntwana are removed straight away by social workers?
Does the bill provide for a situation when the child is being abused within the family to have the child removed from home to the social workers?
Ngoba sesike saba nenkinga la umntwana ehlukunyezwe ekhaya kwagcina kuthiwa icala afanele livulwe kodwa manje abantu abayireportayo abafuna ukuvula icala nathi esishoyo siyawatshela ama-social worker noma ivisit ifamily kuzotholakala kanjani ukuthi lo mntwana uyahlukunyezwa wagcina icala lidrophe out wagcina umntwana ehlale lapho kulelo khaya ahlukunyezwa kulona okwami engifuna ukuphakamisa ukuthi ama-role players okwama-social worker ayadinga ukuthi abophezelwe umthetho ukuthi ayiremove ingane ehlukunyezwayo emakhaya failing which social worker izwile leyo ndaba aliboshwe.
We've had a case like that. We've had a case like that where a family reported that a child is abused within the family. When we told them to open a case, they did not want to open a case. So this matter ended up being dropped and it was not pursued further in terms of courts. Now, I want this bill to provide for the fact that social workers must be bound by law to remove the child from homes where they are abused to centers where they can be taken care of.
Ngicela ukuzwa ushe ukuthi uthi angiqhubeke noma ngimi.
Baba, ngicelile kuwe ungene kuma points uqedelele ngoba the rain is competing with you now and people can't hear you. Safanele siphendule.
Okay, elokugcina ukuremove komntwana whether uremove ekhaya la enganakekekeli khona noma uremove kumuntu omphethe gadalala. Ngizokwenza example nje kune case whereby sa reporter ukuthi kunomuntu ogula ngengqondo okufanele ingane iremove kuyena kodwa ama role players okwama social work agcina ethi ngenxa ku COVID-19 akusendwe email yasendwa leyo email agcine ngayi-attendanga leyo ndaba after 6 months ikhane embheka lo muntu uzula nengane ugula ngengqondo uhleze ezula nengane ehlala nayo noma ikephi. Now into engiyifisayo ukuthi ibill ayiprovide ukuthi uma ke sesireportile kulama role players okwama social work kwenziwe njani uma engawenza umsebenzi ngenxa ukuthi noma ungaya lapha la besebenza khona uyomreport still abawenza umsebenzi. Ngiyafisa ukuthi ibill iprovide ukuthi labantu at least ababoshwe.
Lalela ke nangu HOD.
Yes.
Reporter lo muntu lo ngoba kaloku konke lokho kudependa emsebenzini ukuthi angafumani iPMDS angafumani ukuthi arecommendwe apeye. Nangu HOD is an case date igama lomuntu usocial worker ongasebenzanga. That's why bengisithi ezinye sensitive issues because once uquote that particular person up une right yokusuwisha if lonto leyo uzoyikhuluma kwipublic ayinjalongo. So now ya usocial ulento uhead wabo la eKZN Yonkana ne case number or if ayo case number idate ukuthi wawuvakashele nini lapho ithini isimo. Ngicela nje uhlangane naye manje sizokhona ukudlula. Yeah, and also sizawukhona ukuthi ama cases mosanjalo are sensitive. Siyakhona ukusabela ku HOD ngendlela ethile ukuthi how have you managed to assist in a situation sense follow up enjalo nje. Siyabonga ke.
Ngiyabonga. Kodwa ngiyacela ukuthi sikubheke lokhu ukuthi umthetho ubabophe labantu.
Awufanele kangakaloku babophe nje kufanele uinvestigate umuntu ozoinvestigate ngulowa a report ukuthi and then thina ke nathi sawuhamba indlela ethize awukwazi nje uvela ubophe umuntu ubanjelwa ukuthi umbophe umuntu ungeka investigate. Siyabonga baba. Makazo landelayo imvula iyezisa madoda sizawukhona ukuhamba ukuphuma apha. Sesabi floods, sesabi imvula.
Sanibona.
Greetings.
Igama lami nginguMbali wakwaButhelezi.
My name is Mbali
I
Buthelezi.
am a practitioner at
Sondela kancane, sondela kancane
eSkumlazi.
Ma, sondela kancane.
My name is Mbali Buthelezi.
Igama lami nguMbali Buthelezi.
I am a practitioner at Masjabul Daycare Center eSkumlazi.
Ngisebenza lapha enkulisa yasemlazi.
Yeah. Siyayithanda impokophelo yabantwana, siyathanda ukuthi abantwana baqhubekele phambili. Siyathanda ukuthi babe ne future njengabanye abantwana.
We
Okay.
are happy about the improvements of kids. We want them to have a better future.
Kodwa kuye kube khona inkingana encanyana esiye sinqamane nayo.
Sometimes we have a challenge.
Njengokuthi umzali angayibiki inkinga yomntwana mangabe ezombhalisa.
A challenge of a parent that doesn't tell us the disability or challenges of the child.
Yeah. Kusho ukuthi mhlambe umbone after 2 or 3 weeks ukuthi hayi engathi akafani nabanye abantwana ibehavior yakhe.
Sometimes you realize this after 2 to 3 weeks by the child's behavior that they're not the same as the other kids.
Ngizokhumbula nje esinye story.
I will remember just another story.
Engaye ngabikela umzali ngenkinga yomntwana.
Where I told a parent about the problem of a child.
Kwathi akangidle angifele. Wathi kushuthi ingane yami ucabanga ukuthi iyahlanya yini?
And she was very upset with me. She even said, "Do you think my child is crazy?"
Ngangizame ngawo wonke amandla ukuthi nami ngimtshele ngendlela epolitely nehloniphekile.
I tried all my best to talk to her in a polite and a respectful manner.
Manje sibe nenkinga nanokwesaba ke manje ukutshelwa umzali ukuthi hayi ingane yakho ibehave noma ebuza ukuthi ubehave kanjani namhlanje. Usaba ukusho leyo party leyo. Kwa manje usuke umcabangela nawe ukuthi uyilethe ingane ngoba efuna izosizakala esikoleni izosizwa kothisha.
So now we have a challenge of explaining the challenges of the children to a parent because we are scared, because now you don't want to say the behavior of the child in school.
Ngoba baye babe ngizothini baye babe naleyo disability encanyana lecashile njengokuthi nje umntwana uhlale eshaya umntwana abantwana ngaso sonke isikhathi like ubully enganeni every day. Uthola ukuthi mhlambe kwesinye isikhathi uyasuka nje uyamemeza leyo behavior yakhe ayishintshe ihlale njalo ubone ukuthi hayi akhona okuncanyana ungahambi kahle.
Sometimes you notice a funny behavior on the kids. Sometimes the child becomes a bully or they would just scream out of nowhere. So you notice such behaviors that are not normal.
Ebengicela nengikufisayo engazi noma kungenzeka yini ukuthi kube khona mhlambe iorganization ezokwazi ukuthi le ivakashele ezikoleni ihlole nje umqondo womntwana abazoba nobuchule abazohlola umqondo womntwana.
What I want to ask, if we could have an organization that will go to the schools and check the mental capacity of the child, people who are professional, who can be able to know.
Leyo organization mesikwazi ukukhuluma nathi singabothisha babantwana sikwazi ukuyichazela kahleke ukuthi umntwana ubehave kanje since wafika manje umzali akambiki kodwa manje sisinokwesaba sibachazele kahle leyo organization khona bazokwazi ukuthatha mhlambe mesebenzisa kuma social workers mase iyasetshenzwa indaba yomntwana ngoba ucabanga ifuture yomntwana ukuthi mase no 5 years usesikoleni high primary school uzofika behave kanjani waphela fanele aqhubekele phambili naye athole naye ifuture ebright.
That organization will help us as teachers so that we can explain to the organization the challenges and the mental capacity of the child because we want a better future for the children.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. I fully support the amendment bill.
Thank you very much. I support the amendment bill.
Kabasendlini.
Greetings to the house.
Igama lami nguNokuthula Zulu.
My name is Nokuthula Zulu.
Ngiphuma kwa-South African Congress for Early Childhood Development.
I come from South African Congress Early Childhood Development Organization.
Yes. Bese ke ngokwami ke ngiphuma eHammersdale.
I'm from Hammersdale.
Ngifuna ukubonga kakhulu ioffice lethu eMpumalanga office ngokusinakekela sama crash.
Thank you to our Mpumalanga office for taking care of us as ECDs.
Okay. Ngizoba mfushane ngoba ngiyabona izulu seliyana.
I'll be brief. I can see the rain outside.
Thina ke ngiphuma ECD. Inkinga yethu ke thina ECD. Sinabantwana abakhubazekile.
Our problem is that we have disabled children in ECDs.
Labantwana ke mabekhubazekile asikho equipped asikulungiselele ukuhlala nabo.
We are not capacitated to look after them.
Asinawo ama ramps asinawo ama wheelchairs.
We do not have proper equipment like wheelchairs.
Siyakholelwa kakhulu siwu ECD ukuthi children are the wisdom of the nation.
We really believe as ECDs that children are the wisdom of the nation.
Yes, and njengoba futhi singenazo zonke lezi zinto asinayo ne curriculum eqondene nabo.
As we lack all these resources, we do not have a suitable curriculum for them.
Okay. Enye into futhi ngoba ngithe ngizosheshisa.
Another thing, I'll be brief.
Enye into futhi esibhekene nayo enzima yokuthi sinalento ama non-center based programs.
We've got non-center based programs.
And akakhaviwe la ku Children's Act.
They are not covered, they are not provided for in this amendment bill, or the Children's Act.
Nama norms and standards to see ECD.
And also the norms and standards as ECDs.
Awasebenze endaweni zasemakhaya, awasebenze endaweni ezipuwa.
They are not functional in the poorer of the poorest places or in the rural areas.
Mhlambe kofuneka mangabe sekulungiswa lo mthetho le Children's Act yethu ikicatshangwe leyo ndaba.
Please consider that when you review the Children's Act.
Okay, okugcina ke.
Lastly,
siphile esikhathini esima seCovid.
We are living in turbulent times of COVID-19.
Asinayo imali ka-ECD yokuthenga ama PPEs.
We do not have funding for PPEs.
Siyacela ukuthi kungene lapho mase ku-amendwa.
Please consider that as well.
Okay. Kuthi ke mase ku-amendwa kuvunyelwana ukuthi sizonikezwa nje ama PPEs kuze kube kushaya isikhathi la iCovid iphela khona.
The act must provide that PPEs will be provided for us until COVID-19 is gone.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu ngiyavumelana nakho konke bekhulunywa.
Thank you very much. I support the bill and everything.
Ma, ngifuna uzwa kahle kahle uthi sifake lapha kwi-act indaba yama PPEs sifake kwi-act.
I just want to understand you properly. Do you want the matters of PPE to be put on the amendment?
Uyazi ngiyacela ngempela ngicelisa ukuthi angiyazi iCovid yophela nini. Manje ingeneke lapha kwi-act. Uyazi ke ukuthi masiphelile iCovid ngesikhathi esingasazi kube mhlambe ibibhekwe ke futhi leyo ndaba. Mhlambe kuyekhishwa ngoba vese kuhleli kwenziwa ama amendments. Ngiyacela.
And then masiphelile senze kanjani ke? Siphinde siamende.
Kuhleli kuamendwa njalo.
You always amend.
Okay ma, Bongile. Wogcina gci.
You are the last one.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Igama lami nguThobile wakaKhamshe.
My name is Tobile.
Ngiphuma eHammersdale eMpumalanga Preschool Association.
I'm from Hammersdale Preschool Association.
Ngicela nami ukubonga uDSD waseMpumalanga indlela esibambisene nawo nasema-creche.
I would like to thank DSD of Mpumalanga in the way that we work together with.
Umthetho ke sekelo lo ophumile wamanje khona into engiyinothisile ngawo ukuthi babhalile kona ukuthi izingane ezikhubazekile bayidinga ukuthi zibe khona ema-creche.
The amendment bill does mention that they need all the child with disability to be at the ECDs.
Kodwa abazange bakubalula ukuthi izingane ezinjani ezingaba khona ezinkulisa njengokuthi khona izingane ezikhubazeke ngokomqondo, khona izingane ezikhubazekile physical, khona izingane ezikhubazekile ezingabonakali like ezino-autism.
But they didn't explain further about disability because you find others, they are mentally and physically and emotionally, and others, you don't even notice them quick enough that they have a disability.
So besocela ukuthi kucace kwi-act ukuthi kuphi iziphi izingane ezingangena ezinkulisa nokuthi besocela ukuthi sibe nawo ama-trainings ngoba ezinkulisa asiqeqeshelwanga ukuthi singabheka izingane ezikhubazekile.
I would like them to explain further about that, and so that we could also get a training, because at the ECDs, we are not properly trained to face such challenges.
Bese okugcina ku-child in marriage, kuthiwe ingane mayisimaturile. So akucacanga njengakwi-Act 36 of 2005 ukuthi ingane mesina 18. So nalapho sicela ukuthi bayibhale iminyaka icace ukuze kwaze ukuthi kwenzakala kanjani. Ngiyabonga.
And also on the forced marriages, they should explain further. In the Act of 2005, it's not properly explained how old the child must be or
ma'am.
at which level of
Supporting.
maturity
Okay, so,
the
thank
child should be at, so that they
Thank you very much for all the participants and inputs. Ngoku asinikele u-Social Development Department. Asize phanapha izinto nje ezifuna ukuthi zi-explain.
Thanks to everyone, and now we'll hand over
Ngicela
to
ama-
social
ama-
development so
social
that they
workers
can
eze
also speak briefly.
Ngicela ama-social workers eze onke la as-introduce ne-positions zakhona
All the-
akhokelwe ngu-HOD.
The social workers, can they all come in front with the HOD?
Sisheshe bantu kuyanetha phandle kuyabanda nokubanda.
Let's do it quickly because it's raining outside and now it's cold also.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and good afternoon.
Ngibonga kakhulu sihlalo ohloniphekile, ngiyanibingelela.
The HOD has allowed me an opportunity to respond to questions relating to issues of parental responsibilities and rights.
Inhloko yomnyango ke ingidedele ukuthi kube yimo zokhuluma ke ngendima okumele idlalwe abazali ekukhuliseni abantwana.
Mr. Governor asked a few questions, but I'll provide general explanations on how unmarried fathers can be assisted in exercising their parental responsibilities and rights.
Umnumzana uGavenda ubuze imibuzo eminingi ngalokho, kodwa ke ngizogxila kuleyo nje ejwayelekile ngokuqondene nendima yobaba ekukhulisweni kwabantwana.
What I can say is that the Children's Act currently has many provisions relating to the exercise of parental responsibilities and rights.
Engakusho nje ukuthi ke umthetho weingane uneindawo eziningi la ukhuluma khona ngamalungelo obaba abazali nendima yabo ekukhulisweni kwabantwana.
How they can enter into parenting agreements.
Nokuthi bangazenza kanjani ivumelwano ngokuqondene nokuba abazali.
How can they draft and execute parenting plans?
Nokuthi ke inhlelo bangayibhala kanjani zokuthi bazobambisana kanjani njengabazali.
In a case where a mother refuses a father to exercise parental responsibilities and rights,
Uma ke esimweni la umama efuna ukuvalela khona ubaba ngaphandle ekutheni ke naye asebenzisa amalungelo akhe kumntwana.
the current Section 35 of the Children's Act should kick in.
Isigatshana ke 35 isawo lomthetho weingane kufanele sisetshenziswe.
such a mother would be guilty of an offense.
Lo mama uyoba necala ngokomthetho.
With the current Children's Amendment Bill, we are trying to strengthen that particular section to make it more effective.
Ngalomthetho sivivinywa ke iyaqiniswa leso sigajana somthetho ukuze sisebenze kakhudlwana.
And with the bill, moreover, we are introducing a new clause
Kanti futhi ke kunesinye ke isigajana futhi ke esizokwethulwa ngawo lo mthetho sivivinywa.
clause 30, capital A, that deals with residence of a child and how residence can be shared between parents, not just one parent.
Kuzoba ke isigajana 30A esikhuluma ke ngendawo yokuhlala yomntwana ukuthi angahlala kuphi nokuthi ke kungahlaliswana kanjani nomntwana ahlale nabo babili abazali.
Matters pertaining to parental responsibilities and rights, custody and access relate mostly to the Office of the Family Advocate, and for your province, you can contact them at 031 310.
Hayi sukhawulezisa kaloku. Will you please take out your pens and papers? Nilalele le number ayibizayo.
Sicela
Siva. If kune cases ezifana nezi ninqomane nale phone number biza ke sesi.
Sicela ke ni donsa amapeni namaphepha nibhalele inombolo ezoshiwo uma unenkinga ephathelene naleyo okukhulunywa ngayo ngokuphathelene indaba yezingane amalungelo abazali ezinganeni ukuthi izingane izohlala nobani ihhovisi labameli nayo inombolo ethintwayo bhala phansi
031
031
310
310
6600.
6600.
Their email address is Devon
Ikheli le email lithi Durban
dash
dash
FA
FA
at justice
at justice
dot gov
dot gov
dot za.
dot za.
If you don't get joy from your provincial office, you can escalate your matter to the national office.
Uma ke ungasizwa lapha ehhovisi lesifundazwe ungayidlulisa ke indaba uyise ehhovisi likazwelonke.
The chief family advocate is Advocate Petunia Seabi.
Uzothola ke ummeli oyinhloko lapho igama lakhe uPetunia Siyale.
Her office number is 012
Inombolo yehhovisi lakhe ke ithi 012
357
357
8022.
8022.
How do you spell Petunia?
Ulispela kanjani leli gama elithi Petunia?
PER
PER
TU
TU
NIA.
NIA.
Thank you.
Siyabonga.
I'm not yet done. My apologies. The email
Angikaqedi.
address
Email address ikheli email lithi
National Office
National Office
dash FA
dash FA
at justice
at justice
dot gov dot za.
.gov.za.
Honorable National Office dash FA at justice dot gov dot za.
Siyayiphinda ke ithi National Office dash FA at justice.gov.za.
Honorable Chair, the last issue that I would like to address is the issue of parents, especially mothers who are mentally challenged and keep on giving birth. It's a very sensitive issue.
Sihlalo hloniphekile ke ngizokhuluma na ngaleli phuzu lokugcina lalabo mama bangaphilile engqondweni kodwa balokhu beqhubeka bezala izingane.
What I-
Lodaba lobucayi kakhulu.
What I need to indicate is that we have legislation dealing with sterilization.
Sinawo ke umthetho nqubo okhuluma ngokuthi ke ivalwa kanjani inzalo.
that deals with persons with severe mental disabilities
ikakhulukazi kulabantu laba abangaphilile engqondweni
and issues relating to consent to be sterilized.
nanezindaba ke ezikhuluma ngemvume la umuntu evuma ukuthi ke avalwe inzalo.
I would recommend that social workers, it's a very short act, that they study that particular act and make sure that they understand the provisions and are able to be guided. Because in a situation where there is nobody to assist that particular person to consent, there is provision for alternatives. For example, a curator can be appointed to assist that particular person to provide consent to be sterilized.
Umthetho omfushane lona ngingakhuthaza nje osonhlala kahle ukuthi ake bawufundisise lo mthetho bawuzwe kahle ukuthi uthini ukuthi lo muntu angasizwa kanjani avala inzalo uma kukuthi azikho ihlobo ezingamela zimsayinele lo wona lo mthetho uyasho ukuthi bakhona abanye abangasetshenziswa ekutheni basayine imvume itholakale besivalwa ke inzalo abawuhlolisise kahle osonhlala kahle lo mthetho ukuze bakwazi ukusiza abantu.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members.
Ngibonga kakhulu ke sihlalo hloniphekile.
All right. Masinikeze wena HOD. Or before you HOD, how about bas introduce nje ama social workers so that they can sit down. Sale labaza ukhuluma. They can't talk all of them.
Ngaphambi kokuthi ukhulume HOD sizocela ukuthi osonhlala kahle bazazise.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, honorable members, nomphakathi wonke okhona namhlanje. Igama lami uNelisiwe Vilakazi, inhloko yomnyango wezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi la KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and everyone. My name is Nelisiwe Vilakazi. I'm the Chief Director of the Department of Social Development. HOD.
Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Bilon Tombela. I'm the Acting Chief Director for eThekwini Cluster. Ngiyabonga.
Ngibonge kakhulu nami ngumqondisi wezo sonhlala kahle lapha.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, honorable members. My name is Nombulelo Gebashe. I'm the Director for eThekwini South District Social Development.
Ngibingelele bonke igama lami nguNombulelo Gebashe nami ngumqondisi lo mnyango wezokuthuthukiswa kwabantu kulesifunda saseThekwini.
Take away the mask and smile, please. iTV
Ngasusa isifonyo bese
Okay, good afternoon, colleagues and honorable members. My name is Jigane Pillay. I'm from the eThekwini North District Office, and I'm a Program Manager, Deputy Director there.
Igama lami nguEugene Pillay, ngisebenza khona lapha nje ngomqondisi obhekelelayo kulo mnyango.
Good afternoon, Chairperson and all my colleagues. I'm Noktula Pagati, a Facility Manager for Zake Child and Youth Care Center.
Igama lami nguNoktula Pagati, ngisebenza khona lapha ya ngezingane.
Good afternoon, honorable chair and honorable members. Nomphakathi wonke, igama lami uFezile Wakalithuli, ngisebenza ka Social Development, a provincial office. I'm the Chief Director for Social Welfare Services.
Hi, Chief Director, sihamba yonke indawo.
Ngibonge kakhulu igama lami nguFezile Luthuli, ngiumqondisi wosonhlala kahle, ngisebenza khona lapha kulo mnyango wezokuthuthukiswa kwabantu.
Afternoon, Honorable Chair, Honorable members, and the members of the community.
Ngibonge bonke, nginibingelele nonke namalungu ekomiti nomphakathi wonke.
I'm Mbuyisiwe Sophazi, working for Social Development Head Office. I am the Director for Children's Services.
Ngiyisiwe Sophazi nami ngumqondisi jikelele wemthetho weingane.
Afternoon, Honorable Chair, and the honorable members of the Parliament and the community. My name is Peggy Ndanda, Social Work Manager at Uthukela District. I'm here as a provincial Childcare and Protection Task Team member.
Igama lami nguPeggy Mdlandla, nami ngisebenza njengosonhlalakahle noma ngumphathi wosonhlalakahle.
Good afternoon. I'm Yogesh Raman, the Program Manager in Chikweni South District for Children. I support the bill and welcome all of the clauses and the technical amendment. Thank you.
Nami nguYogesh Raman, Program Manager lapha kulo mnyango wosonhlalakahle. Ngiyawusekela lo mthetho ovivinywayo.
Good morning, good afternoon, Chair, honorable members and the community. I'm Nelsiwe Mthethwa. I'm the Deputy Director at the Provincial Office responsible for childcare and protection. Thank you.
Igama lami Miss Mthethwa, umqondisi osekelayo lapha kulo mnyango wozosonhlalakahle.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, honorable members. My name is Mazom Velase. I'm an acting service office manager for Mpumalanga Service Office. Thank you.
Umeni, uphume nabo bonke HOD office.
Good afternoon, colleagues.
Ba right mabaze lapha ebantwini abantu
Sanibonani.
bababone.
I'm Phumzile Ntuli.
nguPhumzile Ntuli.
Smile Phumzile.
Moyizela ke Phumzile.
I'm acting child and care worker from eThekwini South.
Ngiyibamba nje lapha ya emnyangweni okunakekelwa kwezingane eThekwini South.
Sanibona.
Greetings.
Nozipho Sithole,
My name is Nozipho Sithole,
alternative care
alternative
coordinator from
alternative
eThekwini South District. Ngiyabonga.
omunye ngumxhumanisi lapha ya esifundeni saseThekwini.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Igama lami uNokuthula
Susa
Dlamini.
imask
I'm
iTV
Nokuthula.
kubonakala.
I'm Nokuthula Dlamini.
uNokuthula Dlamini from eThekwini North. I'm a district coordinator for childcare and protection.
Ngingumxhumanisi wesifunda lapha kwa Child Care and Protection enyakatho yeTheku.
Molweni.
Greetings.
Igama lami nguPamela wakwaXhuma.
I'm Pamela Kluma.
I'm the coordinator for the Child and Youth Care Centers eThekwini North.
Ngingumxhumanisi lapha ya eThekwini enyakatho yeTheku ku Child and Youth Care.
Afternoon,
Greetings.
Honorable Chair.
Sanibonani. Sihlalo hloniphekile.
Members of the community, my name is Kolosa Mbedla.
NguKholosa Mbedla.
I'm responsible for childcare and protection services at eThekwini South.
Ngikwa Child Care and Protection Services lapha ya eningizimu yeTheku.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Igama lami uTholani Zungu.
I'm Tholani Zungu.
I'm coming from eThekwini North. I'm a social worker.
Ngivela enyakatho yeTheku ngingusonhlalakahle.
Ngiyabingelela.
Greetings.
Igama lami uMbali wakwaShabangu,
I-
social work supervisor.
I am Bali Shange, ngingusupervisor wosonhlalakahle, wosonhlalakahle.
Mbali Shabangu,
Mbali Shabangu
office laseMpumalanga.
from the Mpumalanga office. Thank you.
Oh, uphangela eMpumalanga
Oh,
sisishaba
you work in Mpumalanga, Miss Shabangu?
or original uye eMpumalanga.
Or do you
Ikhona la?
originate from the?
Mpumalanga Township in Hammersdale.
Ilokishi laseMpumalanga liseHammersdale.
Thank you, ma'am.
Siyabonga.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Igama lami nguSamkelisiwe ngwakaXulu Sibongo.
I'm Samgelisiwe Xulu
Ngisebenza eMpumalanga Service Office.
from Mpumalanga Service Office.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Igama uNondumiso Kabela,
Nondumiso
ngisebenza eMpumalanga
Kabela.
Service Office.
from Mpumalanga Service Office.
Good day, Honorable Chair and Chairperson and members.
Sanibonani
Dear
sihlalo
community
ohloniphekile
members.
kanye namalungu ahloniphekile ngiyanibingelela.
I'm Anisa Omar. I'm from the Provincial Office,
Ngingu-
Social Development.
Ngingu Anisa Omar osebenza ehhovisi lesifundazwe la lezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi.
I'm responsible for the program for children in alternate care. Thank you.
Ngisebenza kule program ke enakekela ke izingane.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson and the members.
Ngiyanibingelela sihlalo ohloniphekile namalungu ahloniphekile.
My name is Praveen Chetty from the Provincial Department of Social Development.
Ngingu Pravin Chetty lapha ya ehhovisi lesifundazwe lezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi.
And I deal with the program Families and Restorative Services.
Families and Restorative Services umsebenzi wami ke ihhovisi engisebenza kulo lelo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Yeah, can you see that the exercise that we were doing is very critical, Matu?
Niyabona yini ukuthi lokho besikwenza manje kubaluleke kakhulu.
KZN is blessed with bonke lama volunteer ebezela ngaphambili nibone ukuthi inkinga zenu ezingasombululeka amaxesha amaninzi if benizithatha nizise ngaphambili.
The KZN is blessed with all these officials and volunteers. So if you submit your problems to them, they will be attended to swiftly.
Marnabo batholakala ezofisini.
But they should also make themselves available in their offices
Babe willing ukusiza abantu kungalindwa umhlangano njengalo.
and be willing to assist people. And they should not wait for hearings like these.
Nikezela kuwe HOD.
Over to you, HOD.
Full members,
Ngibonga kakhulu sihlalo ohloniphekile nani malunga ahloniphekile.
nomphakathi wonke siyabonga kakhulu.
And also the entire community. Thank you very much.
Okuningi obekushiwo umphakathi okunye okuncoma nje ukuthi ibill ayiqhubeke iye phambili.
Mostly from the community side, they were commending the bill and encouraging it to continue further.
Kukhona ke mhlawumbe kumbalwa sokwazi ukuphendula ngakho mhlawumbe sibe bathathu.
There are few points to respond to, maybe 3 of us.
Yes, some of the issues are issues that we can discuss with the relevant members outside this forum.
Ezinye ke inkinga nje singakhuluma ngaphandle kwalesi sithangami nabanikazi bazo.
I would like to touch on the issue with regard to the ECD function shift.
Ngizokhuluma ke ngalolu hlelo ke lokuthuthwa kwama ECD edluliselwa lapha eminyangweni wezemfundo.
There were comments that were made by Miss Mwandla.
Kunamazwi ke kunezinto ke ezishiwo ke unkosazana Mwandla. Mwandle.
I think Miss Mwandle, her comments showed the passion that she has as far as child protection is concerned.
Amaphuzu akhe kabonisile ukuthi umuntu onothando ngokuvikeleka kweingane umulalela izinto ayishilo.
What you want to maybe clarify is the fact that as the function shift to the Department of Education, we are not expecting any new ECDs that will crop up now from now going forward.
Esingakusho ke ukuthi ke ngemva kokusuka kwama ECD adlulisele eminyangweni wezemfundo asilindeleke ukuthi kube namanye ama ECD azoba oqhibukhowe ngemva kwalokho.
There is a process that would be followed that will guide how are we going to take the process forward.
Kunohlelo oluzolandelwa nenqubo ehlelekile ezolandela ebonisa ukuthi singaliqhubezela kanjani lolu hlelo phambili.
And that will be the process that would be led by the Department of Education.
Lolo hlelo liyobe liholwa umnyango wezemfundo.
So at this point in time, we have submitted all the database to the Department of Education of the ECDs that are registered, unregistered, funded and unfunded, so that they are able to plan how they will take the process forward.
Manje sesidlulisele yonke i-database emnyangweni wezemfundo yawo wonke ama-ECD abhalisiwe, angabhalisiwe, ilawa axhasiwe ngeimali, ilawa angaxhasiwe, sebeyobona ke nabo ukuthi ke yonke le nqubo bayiqhubezela kanjani phambili basize.
The position of government is very clear. No child should be left behind. So all the children should access ECD services in the country.
Okushiwo uhulumeni kucacile ukuthi akho ngane okufanele isale ngemuva, zonke le ngane zamkelwe lapha ya einkulisa zifunde nazo.
Umfowethu lo othe kukhona osonhlala kahla afisa baboshwe cha ngizoya kuye eduzane solikhuluma udaba.
My brother.
Silungise kahle.
My brother who said social workers should be arrested, I will go to him and we will discuss this matter.
The rest of the questions would be answered by my colleagues here.
Eminye ke imibuzo kuyophendulwa ke oza kwethu.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, nomphakathi wonke, ngizo pendula umbuzo kaThobile Mwandla, ngicabanga uku-eda kuloko sekusho HOD.
Honorable Chair and everyone, I'm going to answer the question that was asked by Thobile Mwandla.
uThobile enye into akhale ngayo ukhale nge-funding of the organization that work with children.
Her concern was about the funding of the children.
As a Department of Social Development, we are funding NPOs subject to the availability of budget.
Usondele kancane ususe imask. Sizobuya siyibuyisele.
Njengomnyango wezokuthuthukiswa kwabantu siyawasekela ama NPO kuye ngokuthi isabelo mali sanele yini.
Sibuye futhi sibheke ne-special distribution, lowo okuchaza ukuthi siyayisibukele ney'ndawo, ukuthi ke kule ndawo le, bangakanani ama-organization that were funded, arendarisha i-service efana naleyo.
We also look at the matter of special distribution. We look at the area of how many NPOs were given the amount to, so that they can do their work there.
As a department, we also support the NPOs on resource mobilization guided by the NPO Act.
Njengomnyango futhi siyawasekela ama NPO siqondiswa umthetho oqondisa ama NPO.
Okunye, as a department, we've partnered with NLC, that is National Lotteries Commission.
Njengomnyango sisebenza ne NLC ebizwa ngokuthi i-National Lottery Commission.
Ukulekelela ama-organization or ama-NPOs ukuthi akwazi ukuthola i-funding.
So that we can help the NPOs so that they can get funding.
Okugcina, iThekwini municipality ine grant in aid funding eyayiphume njalo ngoJune, engicabanga ukuthi as a department sizokwazi ukuthi silekelele the organization le icebo lethu with other organization ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi bathi come closer, bakwazi ukuthi balekeleleke.
Also, as the municipality, we have a grant that we also help, and that grant you normally get it around June. So we think we can be able to help the organization that is called Icebo Lethu with the same funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Oh, Isa.
Siyabonga kakhulu, you can come.
Honorable Chairperson,
Sihlalo
honorable
ohloniphekile
members,
namalungu ahloniphekile.
ngizophendula umbuzo kaMbali Buthelezi
I'll respond to Mbali Buthelezi
waseMlazi.
from Umlazi.
Firstly, I would like to appreciate uMbali njengoprincipal waleli crash ukhombisile ukuthi mangabe abantwana beqala ukufika esikhungweni sakhe bayakwazi ukuthi baba identify abantwana ababonakala nezinkinga.
Firstly, I'd like to thank her for being able to assess children as they come to their ECD and be able to recognize that these children have got some disability.
However, she reported that normally they have a challenge with parents who are not accepting that there are challenges with their children.
Kodwa ke ushilo ukuthi ke baba nenkinga ngabazali abangakwamukeli lapho betshela ukuthi izingane zabo zinokukhubazeka okuthile.
I would like to report that in our eThekwini or department as a whole, we do have social workers that are placed in each ward. So the ECD centers, they will need to work very closely with those social workers because sometimes it becomes not easy for them to attend to psychosocial support that is required for those children.
Ngithanda ukusho ukuthi ke esifundeni saseThekwini sinabo sonhlala kahle, iward neward inalo sonhlala kahle. Ngakho ke inkulisa ngiyocela ukuthi ngiyikhuthaze ukuthi ayisondele eduze kulabo sonhlala kahle ukuze ke basizane kulezo inkinga abanazo nabantwana futhi basithola ukusekelwa ngokomqondo.
Nokuthi ke okunye labo bantwana bayokwazi ukuthi bathole ukusizakala ngokusheshsha mangabe be refer ngokusheshsha.
If those children are referred quickly, they will then get swift assistance.
Okugcina ke sibuye sibe njoba iChildren's Act ikhuthaza ukuthi we need to have parenting programs in the ECD centers. So we are also running parenting programs. We also train the ECD practitioners to capacitate them so that they can be able to run those programs.
Sinazo ke neinhlelo njengoba kumthetho weingane ka2005 usho sinazo inhlelo ezithinta ama ECD uqeqeshwa kothisha lapha yana ukuze bakwazi ke ukusebenza neingane.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.
Respond to one item on the PPEs.
Kunephuzu elilodwa elithinta izingubo zokuzivikela ku-COVID elisalile.
I'm going to respond to the support with regard to procurement of PPEs in the ECD centers.
Ngizophendula maqondana ke nokutholakala kwamathuluzi okuzivikela ku-COVID lapha ya einkulisa.
When COVID started and the lockdown started on the 26th of March 2020,
Uma kuqala ke i-COVID ngomhla ka-26 March ku-2020 kwase kuqala ke imvalelwa khaya.
there was a directive from the national that all ECD centers must close.
Kuzwelonke ke kwaphuma isiqondiso esasithi zonke inkulisa mazivalwe.
But the department took a resolution to continue paying the full subsidy of the ECD centers.
Kodwa kumnyango wathatha isinqumo sokuthi uqhubeke ukhokha ama-subsidy awo wonke lama ECD inkulisa.
Then here in the province, the management resolved to ask the ECD centers to utilize the 40% that is intended for food for the procurement of PPEs.
Manager ke zakulesi sifundazwe ke zabe seyithatha isinqumo sokuthi ke inkulisa ayithathe imali engu-40% kule mali yokudla ziyisebenzisele ukuthenga ke lamathuluzi okuzivikela ku-COVID-19 iPPE.
The department also supported the unregistered ECD centers that were known to the department at that particular time for the financial support for the procurement of PPEs.
Umnyango waphinde weseka nawo lezi inkulisa ezingabhalisiwe ababezazi ngalesi yasikhathi ukuze bakwazi ukuthola uxhaso lokuthola ama PPE.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Let me just give over to members just to have a bite. Okay. Start on the other side.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Ngibonga kakhulu sihlalo hloniphekile.
Yeah, Chair, I really feel for this, Fathers for Justice.
Ngizwelana kakhulu nalabo baba
You know-
bobulungisa.
You know what I've just read yesterday, I've read an article and it was actually a very concerning article that I was reading because there was a high court judgment that was giving, the mother the right to immigrate with a child. And I was
Izolo-
saying to myself, what about this,
Izolo-
father's right?
Izolo
Because
nje-
when will this father ever see his child again? Because right now that father being denied, the right to his child.
Izolo nje ngifunde esinye isihloko esivele sangikhathaza kanjani. Ngifunda ukuthi inkantolo ephakeme ikhipha isinqumo esivuna umama ukuthi akathuthele kwelinye izwe ahambe nomntwana. Buka nje ukuthi lokho manje sekumncisha kanjani ithuba ubaba enengane yakhe.
Yes, I have the greatest respect for these organizations and these fathers because there are so many children out there and so many children that are fatherless, that fathers are just not interested in them.
Ngisho-
However, I feel that the family advocate, because I have a first-hand experience with the family advocate, and that's the thing that we really need to look in, what is a reasonable time. Because right now, with the current situation in the country where unemployment is high, they also look at the circumstances of that father, which also deny that father because of financial, because he cannot, financially support the child. And that also influence, the decision of the family advocate.
Ngihlonipha kakhulu le inhlangano ezifana nalezi nalabo baba bafana nalaba. Nalendaba ke kammeli womndeni. Uyazi ikakhulukazi njengoba ucabanga ukuthi kulesikhathi baningi kangakanani abantu abangasebenzi. Uyayuthola ukuthi ezinye izinqumo seyithonywa nayilokho ukuthi mhlawumbe ubaba akasebenzi, ikhathi ze-COVID akasebenzi, bese bebuka lezi zimo ezinjalo bese kuthiwa cha mhlawumbe akafaneleke ukuthi angahlala nomntwana uma engasebenzi.
Chairperson, I think we need to get an urgent meeting with the Department of Justice in order for us to get a moratorium on these children, because right now, as we with this children's amendment bill, children will leave the country and fathers won't have a say.
Kuzofanele sisheshe sihlangane nomnyango wezobulungiswa ukuze kulungiswe lezi indaba ezithinta izinkantolo nezinqumo kumele zenziwe ngokuphathelene nezingane kungakahambi isikhathi kakhulu.
Yes, then the other issue I would like to address is the issue of disabled children, ECD facilities for them.
Ngizothanda ukukhuluma nangendaba yezingane ezikhubazekile nokwamukelwa kwazo lapha ya ezinkolisa.
We have heard this issue in a number of our hearings in this province.
Sizwa yonke indawo la sihamba khona le ndaba kulesi sifundazwe.
It cannot be that these children being excluded from because they have the right to education. It cannot be because there's no facilities for them that these children is being excluded from getting educated.
Azikwazi lezingane ukuvalelwa ngaphandle ukuba zithole imfundo nazo ngoba nako kuthiwa azikho izakhiwo ezakhiwe ngendlela ukuthi zikwazi ukuthi ke zamkele nazo. Fanele zithole imfundo.
And then in terms of the forced marriages,
Mayelana ke naleli isiko lokuthwalwa kwamantombazana.
we really need to go back to the drawing board to chair. I think we need to get that people that were saying that they will come and have a workshop with us on maturity date, maturity age.
Fanele icaciswe indaba ukuthi kunini la sekuthiwa lengane ivuthiwe ngokomqondo isingashadi icaciswe kahle iminyaka yobudala engathi ayicacile kahle. Laba bathi bazofika benze workshop nathi abafiki ukuze icaciswe kahle lento.
Because children as young as 9, 10 years old conceive.
Ngoba ubona izingane ezineminyaka engu9 noma 10 zikhulelwa.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Ngibonga kakhulu sihlalo hloniphekile.
I also feel for the fathers for justice.
Nami ngiyezwelana nalabo baba bobulungisa.
I want to assure you that your concerns are addressed in section 21 and section 22 of the bill.
Ngithanda ukunazisa ukuthi izinto ezinikhathazayo kuyakhulunywa ngazo lapha kwesigatshana 21 no 22 somthetho sivivinywa.
Section 21 clarifies the parental responsibilities of unmarried fathers where the biological parents are not married.
Isigatshana 21 ke sicacisa indaba yokuthi mapha amalungelo obaba banawo uma bengashadile abazali.
According to the amendment, the father will automatically be able to fulfill his joint parental responsibilities and rights in respect of the child.
Ngokwalesi sigaba ke kuthiwa ke ubaba unamalungelo alinganayo nomama lapha enganeni.
There was a lady who mentioned that sometimes there's a tug of war between parents.
Kunosisi lana ke othe kuba nokudonsisana ngengane.
And section 22 of the amendment gives a child who is of sufficient maturity and mental capacity the right to express their views on the content of a parental responsibilities agreement.
Isigatshana ke 22 sinikeza ingane amandla ukuthi isholo yona ukuthi ibona kanjani esimweni la uthola ukuthi kunokushayisana phakathi kwabazali.
And I've learned a new thing today about the silver bullet.
Khona ngekufundile ke lana ke makukhulunywa ngesilver bullet.
In my culture, we just plainly call it baby mama drama.
Esikweni lethu ke sivele sibize nje ngebaby mama drama.
It is true, and I agree with you, there needs to be proper investigation of allegations against fathers and false charges, and there must be repercussions and consequences for the mothers, because in South Africa, it is still unlawful to lay a false charge.
Impela kuyiqiniso ngiyavuma ngithi maziphenywe insolo ezingamanga futhi uma kutholakala ukuthi omunye umangalele omunye ngamanga makajeziswe lowo omangalele omunye ngamanga ajeziswe ngokomthetho.
I am really deeply sorry for your experience of our justice system and family advocates and the maintenance court. As you mentioned, they are heavily biased, and I believe we need to strengthen intergovernmental relations with our sister departments to make this system work.
Ngiyazwelana kakhulu nani kuloko enina bhekana nakho ezinkantolo zobulungiswa kubameli bomndeni nalapha ezinkantolo zesondlo zizolungiswa lezi zinto.
It is also the third time that the issue of expensive DNA testing versus unemployed fathers are coming up, and I believe we as a committee will have to go back to the drawing board to discuss that as well. I thank you.
Sekungokwesithathu manje kuvela lenkinga ye DNA nokuthi iyabiza obaba bangasebenza bakwazi ukuyenza bese manje uthola ukuthi ke kubancisha amalungelo athile. Ngicabanga ukuthi njengekomiti laseParliament kuzofanele sibuyele emuva ke sithi ukulifakela ibuko lolu daba.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Ngibonga kakhulu sihlalo.
Ngibabonge nabo baba labo Fathers for Justice.
I also thank these gentlemen for Fathers for Justice.
Ngibabonge na lentombi zethu lezincanyana lezi zilidishayo ama ECDs.
I also thank women, young women who are leading these ECDs.
Kuyangijabulisa ukubona abantwana abancane banakekela ingane because bazoba omama nabo esikhatshana esizayo.
It makes me happy to see youth taking care of the young ones because they are also going to become parents in the future.
Nabo labo baba be justice ngifuna bangalahleli itawel.
And also the fathers for justice, they shouldn't give up hope.
Banizwile namhlanje laba baseduzwe kwenu.
All officials from relevant department have heard you.
Nathi sinizwile.
We also heard you.
Akusho lokho ukuthi lento nishoyo ayikho lathina siphuma khona ezindlini zethu.
It's not that what you said does not take place in our homes.
So kulo ingakuloko ngithokozelayo ukuthi khulumani nabanye kuma province amanye nabo bakwazi unjoina because mangani igajana nje labantu abahlala ngapha eDurban sozo ifikelele nakwenye izindawo.
That is why I urge you to spread the word to all other provinces about your initiative so that every man in the country know about your initiative.
Bakhona no mama labazale amadodwa wodwa.
There are also mothers who gave birth to men, to males. Only.
Nabo ngibabonile la bayan support.
I also saw them. They are providing support for you.
Kufanelekile ukuthi singasupporti umama mangasimbona ayenza into engelungile.
It is not good for us to support a woman when what she is doing is not good.
Asinikeni wonke ama-parent iyezwa sithi kakhulu omama mangasesifuna udivorce sesilwa ngengane.
Let us refrain from using children in fights against men as women.
Nani madoda ningathi mangaseni sininika ukuthi nibheke ingane nani besenilwa asikhombeni ukuthi nina ni progressive.
And also you men, when you get these rights and responsibilities to your children, do not use these rights to fight. Let us hold each other's hands and move forward in peace.
Nathi sinizwile noma nisikhalise kakhulu kanje.
We heard you, but we became very hysterical.
Ngoba siyabanakekela ingane nathi.
Because we also look after children.
Singogogo mangasila.
We are grandparents as we are here.
Khona this sizulu sesiphelile manje.
My English has ran out, I guess.
Kukhona
My Zulu.
si supportayo ukuthi nani lo mthetho lo ninyanzelise ukuthi uphumelele ukuthi nikwazi kuba ama-parents alungile kubantwana benu.
Please ensure that this amendment bill is successful so that you can also have a responsibility and rights to your children.
Uchairperson sachilo athi nina labo niphethe ama-document ningakwazanga ukukhuluma izinto zenu zonke.
The chairperson has already stated that if you have your documents, but you didn't get a chance to present about what you've prepared on your documents,
Nizilandelise lapha ku staff lesi zonisiza khona ngapha ku left.
please submit those documents to members of staff behind the interpreters. They will assist you there.
Ngithokoze futhi ku HOD ukuthi hey namhlanje uze ne-entourage eningi.
I am pleased to see that the HOD came with a very long entourage today.
Sithokozela lokho because asifuni ukuzwa abantu bakhala bathi ama-social worker abawaboni.
We are very happy for that because we do not want to hear people complain saying that they don't see these social workers.
Ngiyathokoza.
Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Mine is just to thank everyone who has made it for this meeting.
Mina ngithanda ukubonga bonke abaye baphumelela kulomhlangano.
Ngicela nje before sithandaza sike sishayele izandla labantu bakwa social development abaphume bonke bathu.
Before we pray, let's give them a round of applause.
That is also a sign that bayayinakekela imicimbi nezinto nengxaki zabantu.
That shows that they care about the people and their concerns.
We also want to commend you, Mamnelisa HOD, ukuthi power isimuwangalala, you must give direction and give instructions. Maubabizile wathi beze to be with you, bazophendula ingxaki zabantu, benze njalo.
We'd like to thank you also, Ms. Nelisa, that when you ask your staff to come with you so that they can answer the concerns of the people, they did so.
So that nabantu bababone ukuthi even if they have these problems, kodwa khona abantu government ebaqashile yabenza ukuthi bancedisane nani kwi-situations ezinje.
So that the community can see that there are people who have been employed by the government so that they can help you to help the people.
Ndibulele i-VVIPs ukuthi community members ezizile la sazobona ukuthi sithini eyinhleke ngalomthetho.
I want to thank the community members who came to see what did we have to say about this amendment bill.
Ndigqibelele ke ngoku nge-officials zethu ezisinika support at all times. Bahlala kula tafile kubanda njengamanje kodwa bayasithathela imizuzu.
I would like to thank the officials who are sitting behind the interpreters, that they come with us and they take all the points that the people have mentioned.
The officials, not the interpreters.
They are sitting.
Masasendinibonga nani.
I'd like to thank the interpreters as well.
Ndiqedelele ke ngama honorable members.
I would like-
Umsebenzi wawo lo wokuthi bathi abantu.
I would like to thank the honorable members. It's their work to come to the people.
Ndifilisha ukuthi I must take le nxaxheba yokuba ndibonge wonke umuntu ophumileyo unetha kunjena kubanda kunjena, but today sifikelele ekugcineni, this is our last day at KZN.
I would like to thank everyone who came out even though it was cold. This is our last day here in KZN.
Siphatheke kahle from day one eJozini, saphatheka kahle yonke indawo until saze seze eMsunduzi siphetheke kahle.
We're taken care of from Jozini, everywhere we went, till up to here in Sunduzi.
And siyabona ukuthi u408 channel from today, if ubungamnakekile kodwa from today uzambheka ujonga ukuthi how far have we gone, okanye i-input yakho na uzibuke ukhuluma ubeka i-input kulesi sihlomelo mthetho.
You will also be able to see yourself on channel 408 giving your input on this amendment bill.
Ngalo mazwi ke siyabonga, sekubongwe wonke umuntu lapha, and manje sesicela nje ukuthi i-volunteer elikwazi ukuthi lithandaze lisicele indlela kahle size siyofika eGauteng kwi-next province.
We'd like to have a volunteer who will pray on our behalf so that we could have a safe journey to the next province of Gauteng.
Thank you very much,
Sibonge kakhulu.
who's a volunteer for ukuthandaza bathu.
Ubani ozosithandazela?
Hey, abantu basemsunduzi abakhona ukuthandaza. Oh, thank you, Mama. Thank you. Come forward.
Thanks, ma'am.
Can we please stand up, all of us?
Nkulunkulu Baba, Nkulunkulu nomusa, Nkulunkulu olungileyo. Siyabonga Baba, siyabonga Jehova, umusa wakho ongaka. Sibonga ukuphumelela sisuka lapho sisuka khona ezikoleni sisuka kuzo nasemakhaya esisuka kuwo, wahamba nathi indlela yonke, wasihola saze sazofika lapha eHammersdale, lapho sihlangene khona nabanye abantwana bakho sizobonisana inqubekela phambili. Siyabonga uNkulunkulu wethu omuhle. Manje sesiyahlukana, phinda uhambe nathi Nkosi yethu. Baba nabahlala kude abaya koJohannesburg endaweni ehlukahlukene, phinda ubahole Nkosi bafike bephilile emakhaya. Nkulunkulu Baba, Nkulunkulu nomusa, iba nathi Jehova mdalwethu nomhlaba konke makube kuhle, kuqhubekele phambili ngempilo zethu nezabantwana bethu egameni layise nelendodana nelikamoya oyingcwele ngoJesu Kristu waseNazaretha kuze kube phakade. Amen.
Amen, Batu. Inkosi, meeting ivaliwe. Thank you very much. Till we meet again. sorry.